So you know I'm paid in full.
Hey, what's going on? You're tapped into another creator's interview. I got my boy Darby Deuce. What's going on, man?
What's good?
Darby Tillis is your real name, right?
It's actually Jesse Darby Tillis the second, but
Oh man, that's a little bit there, huh?
yeah, it's a whole thing. Yeah, people be like, "What?" I'm like, "Yes, it's Jesse Darby Tillis the second."
Yeah, I like Darby Deuce though.
Yeah, that's like
it flows.
See, that's what I say. That's kind of like part of the I have that wrestling persona. Like I'm a wrestling manager to wrestlers at several shows when I travel out, and I put the top hat, the extra goggles, the steampunk fit.
I like that goggles. Yeah, that's cool. What? So let's hop right into it, man. What's up with the goggles?
So
where's the inspiration for that come from?
So I've always been into like different things, like nerd culture, and steampunk was one of the things I was really a big fan of. And you know, there was a steampunk like event here. I didn't go to it, but there was, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool, whatever." And I was started doing Comic Cons and just travel on the road. And about 9 years ago, I worked a show in California. It was like a wrestling event. It was Tiny Lister, Michael J. White. It was like star-studded, right? I'm out there. I'm doing my thing. I was program director at that show. And dude had his box and it was like these cool steampunk goggles. Not these. The other ones I kind of retire because I wore them everywhere. And I grabbed them, put them on, and I just kind of like wore that. And my friends, which is funny enough, they saw me always wear these goggles. That became known for the goggles. They bought me a top hat. They bought me some glasses.
Yeah.
Pretty much bought me a fit. Right? So I had this like steampunk fit, brown and black gold. I never showed it. And I was helping doing a local wrestling show here that was going to be on TV. And I told them, I was like, you know what? I'll do an announcement for y'all. Knowing that I have bad stage fright. A lot of people don't believe I have bad stage fright. I get to shaking, I get to freaking out. I can't do it. But I was like, I can announce. I got a good voice. So I go out there, put the full fit. They're surprised because everybody, this is like shorts, no matter how cold it gets. I'm from Chicago. Always in shorts. Nobody seen me
I got a
dress
buddy
up.
like that. It don't matter how cold it is.
Don't
gonna have
matter.
shorts on.
Yeah, that's me. So they only see me like that. So they
this was like a whole different deal for them.
Yeah, so they just like, oh, we gonna see. And this is the first time working with some people. I show up in a 3-piece suit, top hat, glasses, and I announced like 14 matches that night.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what? And then like from that, I started getting booked everywhere. Like they were like, hey, you want to come out here? And then I started getting paid and I started hosting events and then I won a competition called Pitch at Texarkana. And the people that were helping me.
What was that?
The Pitch at Texarkana?
Yeah, what was that?
So Pitch at Texarkana started in 2022. Pitch at Texarkana is like it's like a think tank, like Shark Tank type of thing for Texarkana.
Oh, pitch, like pitching an idea. Yeah.
Yeah, like pitch an idea. You should do it for the podcast thing.
Yeah.
You can win, it's like every March, and I won the first one. And like I was pitching for an esports gaming arena thing because I do work with schools. I help start esports in like A&M and a couple other schools. And just like I'm the advisor for some things like
esports. What explain that?
Electronic video games.
Okay, electronic video games.
Electronic sports. Cool. Essentially. But yeah, I won that competition and they told me like, you gotta wear the outfit. You gotta put the top hat on. That's you. You'll win. And I was gonna put the esports jersey I have for A&M. I was going like, oh no, I got the esports jersey. And they're like, no, you look like a video game character.
Yeah.
So I go up there, I do the full esports pitch. Nobody knows what esports is. Nobody knows video games. Nobody knows Smash Brothers. Nobody knows Tekken.
Oh,
Everybody's
Brothers.
It's old money over there, right? They're looking at me like, what? And they're looking at me and I'm like, I list out like statistics. It's like, well, this is how much video games make. This is how much Fortnite brings globally. And they were like, and I won.
Heck yeah.
And I took first place.
Yeah, video games is
it's big.
Huge.
Very, very big.
My brother, shout out to my brother, Jake Teel. He
he's did a couple of my tournaments before.
Yu-Gi-Oh? Yeah. So my brother,
my
brother plays games. He's all tapped into that. So yeah. I kind of see into his world. Sometimes he tells me all kind of stuff. And
he hustles with the cards and the play. I've seen it. Yeah, he's
very smart. Yeah, my brother's super smart.
Yeah,
we're really different, but like we're kind of similar in saying.
It's funny because like y'all look similar, but y'all are so different.
Yeah,
and like I don't forget who I heard of first, and then I like would like I saw him a couple times, and I was like, wait, is this your brother? He's like, oh yeah, that's my brother, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
And just looking at it, I think you were doing music at the time, and I was just like, hey, y'all are drastically different.
Dude, and we get along like so well.
Really?
It's hilarious.
So
So we are
different.
night and day, dude.
Yeah. So like dressing, everything. I'm like, what?
I say night and day. We have a lot of interests that are the same. I'm kind of into like the nerd stuff on the slide. Like people don't suspect it.
Yeah.
But like he's put me on to a whole bunch of stuff. Like he just recently got me to watch anime. So I just recently tried some shows.
Yeah, I saw that in the other setup.
Yeah.
You had the anime posters.
Yeah,
in the
like
background.
Hero and Super. That I got it. You know, we watched Dragon Ball when we was little.
Yeah.
But
to get into new age
yeah,
stuff.
I got into. I recently just watched everything Dragon Ball. Like,
oh wow,
everything.
a lot.
And that was cool. Everything was cool, but GT was straight. But it was like
GT was directed by a different person.
Yeah, it was different.
You know, I've been to Funimation.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
that was a cool one. So I did the first Comic-Con back in 2018. Yeah, that's 6 years ago. I did the first one, and we had I had Raditz and Chi-Chi or Yusuke and Botan, depending on the anime. If you know Yu Yu Hakusho or you knew Dragon Ball Z, I had those two people there.
The voice actors?
The voice actors.
Yeah.
You know, and I had the Red Power Ranger there. The second one, not Jason, but the one that was on the Netflix special recently. Right. And, you know, I had them out, and I had I already previously had I knew them personally, like the Red Ranger. Previously knew him. I've seen him in events because I worked Comic-Cons.
So you just hanging out with the Red Power Ranger?
Yeah. So it's like
you just call the Red Power Ranger up. That's cool.
It's funny. Like, so between like my personal friends in Texarkana,
yeah.
Like whenever I hang out with somebody, I'll tell them. But like it was like a reoccurring thing. I would hang out with Steve Cardenas, Red Power Ranger. He's the second Red Power Ranger, Rocky. Right. I would hang out with him. They were like, bro, that's your best friend. Right. And like he don't know it. Like I never told him that, whatever, because we're like acquaintances at best. But like he would just do things that you would think a best friend would whenever he was around me at the Comic-Con. They're like, there goes you and your best friend. I was like, bro, y'all got to chill on that. But like Chi-Chi and the guy that played Raditz or whatever else, Cynthia Kranz, and I cannot think of the voice actor of Yusuke and Raditz.
Maybe we can use our good friend.
Yeah, right.
Say Google Raditz. Raditz. It's got a Z. Yeah, let's see. Voice actor, the American one, right?
Yes, American voice actor.
Justin Cook.
Justin Cook. Yeah, that's my boy Justin Cook. And, you know, met him, and I've met like plenty voice actors. I have a story with all of them. And I meet him, and, you know, we do the Comic-Con. I get him a cake because it was during that time, it was the 20th or 25th anniversary of Yu Yu Hakusho and of Power Rangers. No, it wasn't 20th. It was the 20th or something like that, 19th to 20th. Something, it was an anniversary. So I get them cakes of Sweetheart Cakery. Shout out to Sweetheart Cakery. We get them cakes for their shows. And he sees that, and he just thinks I'm a stand-up guy. He was like, you know what? Let me know. I'm going to take you on a personal tour. Whenever you come up to Dallas for Funimation. Because Funimation, where they do all the anime, is in Dallas.
Really?
Now, this is the old setup. They got a new building now.
Okay. Is it still in Dallas?
Yeah, it's still in Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah,
no,
Flower Mound.
I had no idea that was like a Dallas thing.
So it's so funny about all that. Why it's in Dallas. Everything at that time when they started really doing anime, like early 2000s, late 90s, was in Cali. But like most businesses now, they moved to Texas.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a thing. Why,
that is a trend.
Yeah.
For
and
sure.
he was a music guy. So he kind of knew the sound stuff. So he was never a voice actor first. He was a sound guy. And they did a Dragon Ball movie, I think they did first, before it was Funimation. And, you know, then they started getting Yu Yu Hakusho. They couldn't find a voice for the main person. The person who was over him was like, you go in there and do it. And then he kind of got a start. Then he did Dragon Ball Z. Now he's did a ton of animes. And he's like, unless that's changed, he was like the second in command of Funimation.
Wow.
The only person that hired him was the person over Sony in the Sony thing. And he took us to a personal tour. We got free anime, like Blu-ray disc of free anime. I got full Blu-ray set of Yu Yu Hakusho. My friend got a couple anime. I forget what. I got to bring people. So I was like, oh, bet. And like we saw vintage 80s, 70s Dragon Ball tapes, reels.
Like reels? Oh, like from the yeah.
Like the throwback, like blow off in the reels, bro. Like,
oh, that's cool.
Like we got to see the whole full thing, and then we got to see them dub it. We got to see them edit it. We got to see them voice actor. Like they were like working while we did the tour. It wasn't like, oh, here's a tour, nobody's there. No, they was like working.
They was doing episodes.
Yeah, everybody was
that's
doing
cool.
episodes, and we got to see so many people that voices and do things.
Are you a dub guy or a sub guy?
I don't care.
It doesn't matter, huh?
Everybody's like, oh, I cared it. Man, everybody. At this point in my life, I tear people up on what anime you like. I'm the one to tell you trash.
Oh yeah.
Which is funny because I throw the anime convention, so it's just like, what am I doing? You know.
So if I watch like okay, so I watch like so I was real big into Avatar, like Avatar: Last Airbender. My brother was like, dude, if you like that, you should try a couple of different anime. So I was like, bet.
Mhm.
So I got in, which I know that's not technically anime, but that seems like a good way to
No, it's a great segue.
Segue into it.
Yeah, it's a great segue.
So I watched. What did I watch first? Full Metal Alchemist. Oh, Brotherhood.
Full Metal Alchemist is really dope.
And I was like, okay, yeah, I watched that all the way through, and I was like, yeah, I got to try some more. Then I watched Hero. That is great.
Full Metal Alchemist. Originally, I was supposed to have him booked because me and him have we still have a personal friendship or whatever else. I haven't talked to him in years.
The main character.
The main character, and he was supposed to come to Texarkana, all this other stuff, but he ran into Me Too movement stuff. He beat the cases. He beat all the cases and stuff like that. But he, like, when I had him booked, he ran into that because he's also voices Broly.
Oh,
and that's when
that's the same guy.
Yeah, that's the same guy. That's when the Broly movie dropped, and he was gonna come to Texarkana, but it was like a whole
the new one.
All Broly,
all even the old ones. Okay.
Yeah, but now he got replaced or whatever. But it was a
so
full
he wasn't
fallout.
The same guy on Super. The Broly one.
Yes,
or that same. Okay,
that was him. Unless they replaced him, he was. Yeah, no, he was when he dropped. Unless they changed it.
Okay.
But it was a full thing, and them issues or whatever else, he couldn't make it. He's actually came to Texarkana on his own accord because the other Comic-Con tried to book him. Then COVID happened, but he came down and he still like signed stuff for free. Or he signed, he just was there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else I watched. Right now I'm watching Attack on Titan. That's pretty cool.
Eren Yeager? I think Eren Yeager is the main person. He's voiced by Bryce Papenbrook. Look that up. I think that's Bryce Papenbrook.
For which one?
Attack on Titan. I'm just like listening.
As the main, like the main kid.
Yeah, the main character, Eren Yeager. I think it's Bryce.
Main character. I need Jamie right now.
Right.
Pull it up, Jamie. Main character, voice actor. While I'm looking at that, yeah,
Bryce Papenbrook is the main. I think that's the main one.
It needs to be who plays. Yeah, Bryce Papenbrook. Yeah,
I talk to him weekly.
Oh yeah,
that is like a legit friend.
Okay, yeah,
Bryce is a legit friend.
Yeah,
I had to make sure. I was like, no, let me not say this and mix up on his anime. I think he's So me and Bryce talked. Like he came down. We started doing business together, a mutual friend, and he's helped me out. He actually bought me dinner, so I owe him dinner. So I gotta next Comic-Con I gotta try and book him. So now I gotta owe him dinner. He's like, all right, you owe me. I was like, all right, bet. But we talk all the time because we do business, and he's helped me out like with a little ticketing system called Tixer. Really great guy.
Yeah.
And he voices, if you ever watch Demon Slayer, he's a Nosuke.
I started Demon Slayer.
He's a Nosuke when you get to that character on Demon Slayer. He's man.
A lot of those voice actors get
Kirito.
Repeat jobs. So like a lot of isn't it like a big handful of voice actors do a good majority of the voice acting, it seems like.
So the way it was told to me and seen, Dragon Ball Z, Chris Sabat, who does like all my
dude, he's in a ton of things.
He has his own studio called like Okatron 5000. He handles Dragon Ball because it's probably easier just to pay him to handle that,
right?
Than him just like bring him in for this voice, bring him in for this voice.
I love Vegeta.
Right?
Vegeta's like
he's a great guy.
Yeah, I think that's like one of my favorite characters.
Favorite characters
because I was talking with somebody the other day. I know this is a rabbit trail, but Goku is cool. Like, but he's just so goofy. Like Vegeta has more. It feels like he has more of a story. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so I think when it comes to like main characters, there's some, and because always people say like Goku doesn't really have a character. It's kind of like have you ever seen Hunter x Hunter?
No, my brother was telling me I need to watch
characters like Goku or Gon and Hunter x Hunter. Those characters aren't meant to really have character development,
right?
You know, they're pure-hearted characters. They're characters that are simple, but they're the characters that build a story around everybody. So it's kind of like it just depends on the story structure, and people get that mixed up. It's like, you know, Vegeta's going to have more story because he's about redemption arc.
Yeah,
you know, pretty much if you watch from Dragon Ball Z, Everybody tried to kill him. Krillin was doing some shiesty stuff.
Yeah.
Tien killed people. Yamcha tried to beat him up. Everybody had a redemption arc around
they really
Goku.
were all bad around Goku.
They were all,
yeah, because Tien was kind of an asshole at first. And Krillin was jealous of him.
So you think about it, Goku ride the Nimbus. He was pure heart.
Yeah.
Everybody, but the way his character, the way Dragon Ball Z is, everybody's built around him.
Yeah.
Right? So everything's built on the whole, this good guy's changing people.
Right.
But all of that's that, Naruto. Most anime are built off of the Journey to the West story. Have you ever heard of that?
Journey to the West.
It's like the Sun Wukong Journey to the West, like the monkey going to the West. It's all of that is based off of that, off the Monkey King story. Yeah.
No,
most anime have that origin story in some way. Like I said, Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, I want to say even Yu Yu Hakusho, Bleach. They have that general kind of story. If you notice, it's this really cool guy that makes everybody feel good about themselves while he's on this journey to get stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. It's just like Goku, though. In Super, he just gets to where he's just risking everything just to fight.
Goku is definitely, American made him more a hero. If you look at the original translation, he's a fighter.
He just wants to fight people.
Yeah, he's just there for the art of fighting.
Yeah.
He's not really, he wasn't there to help people. He was just there kind of to get stronger because that's the way of kind of the martial arts way.
Yeah.
Who's the next guy that I can test how good I am?
And it's getting to where they got to come up against some.
I read
gotta
the
be
manga.
hard to find new. I've seen who he's got to fight next, but was it Granola and and stuff like that? But
so now it's just that's why they go outside the places, or they eventually they have to fight the gods.
Yeah, because he's so strong.
Yeah, he was strong before. If you think about it, Master Roshi was blowing up the moon in Dragon Ball. So that means at that low power level, anybody can blow up a planet.
Yeah.
So they're still going up from that. It's kind of crazy. You think about how strong are you? How strong can you get? Nothing makes sense at that point.
It's just the Saiyan deal. I guess the only reason why they're able to keep.
Well, that's why they keep evolving. The one thing I like in the manga of Dragon Ball Super, then it didn't show it in the anime, was if you read the manga of the Tournament of Power, then the anime of it was it went over this martial arts thing where Master Roshi, he did Ultra Instinct for 1 second. And he tripped was it Jiren, the real strong guy?
Yeah,
he
Jiren.
tripped him. And then Jiren eliminated him. But Goku kind of saw that and that learned it because Master Roshi was all your teachers, think about all your teachers. We're all teaching you the same discipline to rise you to this certain level.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that's what, and I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. Don't matter how you get there, you all kind of go to the one kind of discipline, kind of the Buddha stance type.
How do you feel about the shows doing different things than the manga? Because that happens, doesn't it?
So Dragon Ball is different because everybody talks about what's going to break the internet next anime moment. The only reason Dragon Ball Super did that with the whole Ultra Instinct was because it came out before the manga.
Oh, so people didn't know what was coming.
Yeah, the manga had to catch up to the anime because it was Akira Toriyama gives Cliff Notes. And he has one team that does anime, one team that does manga. They figure the rest out. That's why there's things different. In the manga, Goku does the Hakai thing once, and Vegeta turns his hair red and does just normal Super Saiyan God. Doesn't happen in anime.
Yeah, it doesn't happen in the anime.
Yeah. Also, I think certain people get eliminated differently. Gohan double eliminates himself with somebody else. It's completely kind of different.
Yeah, that's strange. But do they do that in other animes, or are the other animes more stricter to the manga?
From animes that I know, there's not many. But nowadays, it's not just manga animes. There's manhwa, and manhwa is Korean versions. So now Solo Leveling and Dr. Stone are Korean based. So, and like I said, some animes just come out and they don't have much manga and they fill in the blanks of it.
Right.
So it's just different the way.
Is it kind of could you relate it to somebody taking a book and making a movie from it? To where are they just drawn from?
Well, it's kind of so it's kind of like that because they do that with if they're just gonna make a straight up movie,
right?
Versus making a series. So it's all adaptations or the live action version.
Yeah,
the live action versions of Yu Yu Hakusho.
There's been some misses in live action before. What's your worst
My worst?
Your worst live
not even
action.
best. Oh, man.
Yeah, your worst, like, okay, they tried to do something that was live action and it did not translate.
And it's not, and you don't want me to say the easy answer, Dragon Ball Evolution?
Yeah, that's the worst shit
ever. Yeah, I was about to say, like.
That is the absolute worst thing. Somebody was on me the other day, because I posted a clip from one of my podcasts talking about it, and they were like, because we brought up somehow, and they were like, no, it wasn't that bad. And I was like, what are you watching?
You say it wasn't that bad. I mean, I guess if you're going off of not knowing Dragon Ball Z and you're just watching the movie, then maybe you can, but that's hard. Yeah, that's just a really bad movie.
Yeah.
The rough. Voice actor, not the voice actor, the character that played Piccolo, I think he was, he did Buffy. He was Spike on Buffy. Pretty sure he made up for that because he wanted to do that character. Pretty sure he was, he wasn't Goku Black, the other guy.
Samazu.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's voiced Samazu to make up for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You had to fact check me on that one. But yeah, he wanted to make up for that one and everything. So that's just it's just bad. I don't think I finished it, that movie, because it was just bad. So bad. But I know the source material, so I'm just like,
yeah, like that's one thing. Like when they made Avatar, we talked about this the other day on another podcast. But when they made the Avatar movie, like the live action Avatar: Last Airbender,
that was the same year.
Yeah.
I was telling
it was
people,
like 2010, 2011, because I just looked all this stuff up.
You talking The Last Airbender?
Yeah, rough. Yeah. Talking about the live action one.
Yeah.
Awful.
Those all came out around the same time where a lot of movies was a miss. I was actually talking to a friend about, so there were so many movies came out just missing, right? That there was a Chung-Li Street Fighter movie and it was bad during that time.
You just think it was the time period?
It was like, I think stuff was like so easy to make. They were just like, whatever, throw some money and just go with it. That Wolverine movie came out, the first one with the Deadpool, which is funny. It had that terrible Deadpool.
Oh, yeah, where he had his mouth
closed. Yeah. That was around that same time period. But I think those movies so bad, I think that's what made like the blue skin Avatar so much money because,
it was good.
It was good. It was good in a certain way where it was simple, but it was simple enough and visually was pleasing. All these other stuff was like terrible CGI, stories terrible. And then also, I think Disney is around the time where Disney was like picking up with Marvel, Iron Man, Hulk, Iron Man 2, even though Iron Man 2 is one of the worst of probably the whole MCU. Yeah. Iron Man 2 is probably the worst one. I didn't
like that one.
Yeah, that one sucked. But it was like so much other stuff going on. It was just like, this is better than,
It seems like they're fizzling out. I don't know. Like, it's hard. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that, but I'm having trouble. And as being somebody that has watched it faithfully since it started, this last era has been tough for me to stay engaged with.
It's too much content for me. For me personally, it's too much content. I'm not watching every show.
Now they're throwing the TV shows in, right? And
I keep up with the comic books. I love Marvel. I love comic books, but man, I'm not watching every show. Like, and there's some movies I need to go back and watch, but it's just like some of them I'm probably not gonna watch. Like, you dropping like 4 or 5 movies and like 5 TV shows? Nah, man. I may watch 4 of that. Like last year I watched Ant-Man and I watched Thor. Right? Thor came out. And I watched Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
That's what you got. Yep, I capped. I got 3. Yeah. And I watched Loki. That's my 4 Marvel projects.
Yeah. I watched Doctor Strange and I watched
Did
Thor.
Doctor Strange come out last year?
Was it last year or was it the year before?
It may be last year. Okay, then I watched Doctor Strange. Oh, then I guess.
Was it last year or would have been the year before? I can't remember. I watched.
There's so much though.
The last 3 I watched was Spider-Man. That was cool. I couldn't miss that one because they brought all.
That came in like 22 or 21.
Yeah.
And I did watch that one. I watched that one.
The Thor one, dude, I didn't really like it. I wasn't wild about it.
I didn't care for it. I didn't. I was hyped about it because Christian Bale, he was going to be this villain, and you didn't see much of him. And
he was good though. It was so strange. But
he was really good, but it was strange, and it just didn't focus on him as a villain.
And they were, I don't know. It's almost like too comical. Like they tried to.
Yeah, it's not as dark. It's not. Yeah. They're trying. It's always these jokes.
But I don't know. It doesn't. Sometimes they do that. And I guess that's the problem with having so many movies in their whole deal is because sometimes you'll have different movies with different feelings and almost feels like it takes you out of the universe a little bit.
That's why I think it's just like they're trying to like monopolize. They'll only watch us, and I'm just like, I'm not interested in every character. I'm not interested you're not just gonna drop something. I'm like, I'm gonna watch that. You know?
Yeah, there's several I didn't watch. Miss Marvel, Moon Knight. There's several deals that I
didn't watch. Miss Marvel. I didn't watch Moon Knight. I saw Black Panther 2.
I didn't see that one.
You not miss nothing. It was just it was like a homage to Chadwick Boseman.
Was he in it? Was he in it at all?
Or, I think in the very beginning parts, like, but not really.
He kind of made the first one. But I say that him and the bad guy, Michael B. Jordan. That was
Oh, the first one's amazing.
Was crazy
till you saw the budget cut at the end fight. Like the CGI went like out of nowhere. They just cut budget. I'm like, what is this fight? It got real bad. Like you could tell, like right when the budget is just like, oh yeah, we're running out of movie. Let's wrap it up, guys. Like, but Black Panther was great. I watched both. I watched the Avengers movies. I think I just fell off at maybe it was Spider-Man, the second Spider-Man, and then all these movies after. I'm just
To me, they could have stopped. I feel like they could have stopped with Thanos, and it would have felt like done.
It would have felt good, but just making so much money. This is where money goes over this whole creative idea, and that's just natural. They bought Fox. Now Deadpool and Wolverine was announced.
Yeah,
and I'm excited. I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch all the Deadpools. I'm glad they only got one Deadpool movie out. It sucks with the whole whatever that guy's name is that was well, he's the villain on the Ant-Man, and he was on the time thing. He just dealt with the legal problems.
You talking about Kang?
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah. It sucks with that because now they're going to change him or whatever else.
Kang was supposed to be like what we were supposed to,
But he already kind of like beat him up in Ant-Man, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I didn't see that. The only thing I saw him was when he sat down with Loki at the end of Loki 1.
Oh, in the Loki 1. So you didn't see Loki 2?
No, I need to watch it. Because I liked Loki 1 was really good.
Yeah,
so.
Loki 2 is good.
But it's just a good character.
Yeah. No. And that's the thing, like, every character can't just grasp you. I like Marvel. Like I said, I read the comics, when they're going to drop the new Blade movie, But also I keep up with DC. And DC's getting kind of like I watched half of Blue Beetle. I haven't watched no Aquaman.
No.
I regrettably watched Wonder Woman 2. Loved Wonder Woman 1.
Yeah, Wonder Woman 1 was good. Wonder Woman 2 sucked.
I didn't see all of I've seen some of it. I didn't watch Shazam, Black Adam. I never watched Shazam. I watched Black Adam.
Yeah, I didn't see that. You watched Black Adam?
Yeah, it had The Rock in it.
Yeah, did it? I heard it flopped. Or not?
It did.
Yeah,
it did flop.
You got how you got The Rock in your movie and it flops? It seems like that.
I think it was the wrong time for it because Warner Brothers just mess up. They're just bad at it. You ever see the Snyderverse version of Justice League?
Yes, I saw that.
That was amazing.
I watched the black and white ones, like 4 hours long.
Did you?
Yeah, that was dope.
That was like, it had...
I remember watching the original one in the theaters, and I was like, this sucks. And I knew what was going to happen. I was like, Superman's going to have to save him. Like, from the first scene. They're going to have to get Superman back, because can't none of them fight, besides Superman, really.
Flash saves like a family, that's it. But the other one, he goes in town, it's cooler. Yeah, I watched the Flash movie. I kind of wish I didn't.
He ruined himself, too.
He ruined himself. They shouldn't have replaced him. I would have preferred it if they replaced them, but I watched it because it was Michael Keaton.
Isn't it wild the way that cancel culture kind of works, and the fact that they just straight up ignored it and went ahead and put that movie out? Because how things go now, it seems like if they put their sights on you, hey, you're doing this or that, you got to go. And then, but I think they must have just had too much into the movie, huh?
They did a lot of reshoots. I don't know. No, I can't even put that much justification for Ezra Miller. They deserved anything that happened to Jonathan Majors or Johnny Depp. They deserved it, and they didn't deserve to be in that movie. And when you're doing different timelines and different people, you could have inserted a different Flash.
Yeah.
No, I'm just not gonna let that fly because they're rewriting the whole MCU
over Jonathan Majors.
Over Jonathan Majors,
and they just stuck Flash in there. But maybe
they kicked out Johnny Depp out of
Pirates.
Pirates and because those Pirates are apparently already filmed.
Really?
The second in command told me that years ago when I did a Comic-Con. The second in command of the Pirates Caribbean, his second in command of Jack Sparrow. The old white guy.
Oh yeah, but Mr. He calls him Mr. something. Whatever his name is.
His first mate.
First mate. Hold on. Let's ask our good friend Google.
Yeah, his first mate. I know who he's, and it's funny. I know he's played by Johnny McNally. I know the actor's name. I don't know the character's name this time.
First mate. What is his name? Mr. Gibbs.
Mr. Gibbs.
There we go.
So Mr. Gibbs told me years ago, and he was like, this is before pandemic, because I saw him and he's like super skinny. I was like, bro, I was like, hey, don't you got to beef up? Y'all got some Pirates movie to film. And he was like, and we filmed them a long time ago. I'm waiting for them to release. And he's just...
So it's like multiple pirate movies that are ready to go?
It was supposed to be, the first trilogy was a love story. It's just Jack Sparrow was so big because it was really based off of Orlando Bloom's character and the lady's character. The second trilogy, the second trilogy was supposed to be based off Jack Sparrow because they already finished theirs, and this one was just a straight up a Jack Sparrow thing.
Yeah, he was so good,
man.
Jack Sparrow is like an icon,
iconic, bro.
What about Pirates of the Caribbean with no Jack Sparrow? I just couldn't see it.
There was a rumor that it was going to be the guy from High School Musical was going to replace him. Who also
you talking about? The main character?
Yeah, you can
Zac Efron?
Zac Efron. There was big rumors that he was going to replace him.
Be a pirate?
Yeah, he was going to be Jack Sparrow.
Oh, I don't know about that one. I don't know
yeah,
he
was going to be Jack Sparrow. Which I was like, man, that's some range because like I've never seen him in that type of role, you know?
Yeah, no, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that was the rumor. He was going to replace him and be in that.
This is the day you almost caught Jack.
Yeah, this was the day you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow.
He's so good.
Man.
But I mean, those are classic though. Like those three were so good. And then the other ones they did were all right. But
his character is great. Johnny Depp is like an amazing actor. Cancel culture, which is crazy. He won the case and she still stayed on the Aquaman movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but she lost.
Yeah, she kind of sucks.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird how we pick and choose who to cancel.
Yeah.
It's not like a right or wrong, right? It's not off of who wins the case, not win the case, right?
Yeah.
Like Jonathan I always joke and tell other people, Jonathan Majors got the worst of the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case.
Yeah.
Not only he lost the trial, but everybody kind of saw him as innocent, and he still got kicked off the movies. So he didn't get, and Ezra Miller got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
He stayed regardless. And I read all the things he did.
Dude, he's a freak.
In like 3 to 6 months, a lot of that was all in a short time period. That wasn't years. Like he beat up an old lady behind a bar. Yeah. And then he started and that was in like Iceland. Then he started a cult in Cleveland. And it was like...
That's our Flash.
Yeah. Somebody joked and said that he was really Reverse Flash the whole time. He replaced the real Flash.
That's like
super villain
vibes for real.
Yeah. Like, and that's just crazy. Like, I don't...
It's just a plot twist. That's it.
And he got away. And he's like he should be locked up. Like they're proving these things and somehow it's not. But they keep his movie. And the funny thing is, so Michael Keaton wasn't supposed to show back up in that movie. He was on the Batgirl movie that had Brendan Fraser as a villain. And they just got rid of that movie. It was supposed to come out 2 years ago.
I think a lot of people watched that. I haven't seen it, but I think a lot of people watched it because they
pulled
like,
it.
we want Michael Keaton back. I'm talking about the Flash one.
Oh, the Flash, yeah.
Just to see him as Batman again.
I watched it to see it. And it had Nicolas Cage as a cameo. That was cool. Nicolas Cage is mad about it because he wanted to be part of it.
He didn't want to be part. How did they get him as a cameo without an accident? Like,
because it was Nicolas Cage from the Tim Burton movie. So they were doing pictures of a Tim Burton Superman movie with Nicolas Cage. And they canceled the project, but they used that likeness. Where he fights a giant spider. He has long hair.
It's like a multiverse type deal.
Yeah.
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 Okay,
It is all multiverse.
I haven't seen.
Yeah, I missed
this. Yeah, I know.
You're not.
DC upset me when they had Batman beating up Superman like that in their little deal.
I mean, he had the kryptonite. I mean, I think was Ben Affleck's the best Batman.
No,
easily. He's the one that didn't get his man. He's because think about it. Like nobody's that size. Like if Batman's going to be Batman,
like size wise,
looking size.
Christian Bale is Batman, bro.
I don't like that voice.
Oh, you don't like it? You didn't like it?
Perfect movies. The movies are amazing, but I would say Christian Bale's the best Bruce Wayne.
He was a good ass Bruce Wayne.
Ben Affleck's the best Batman, and then Michael Keaton's probably the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Size wise, you just don't like. He's the first Batman that's like over 6 foot.
Yeah, he's
a big guy, and he actually put on weight. Like he's a big guy.
I get that.
You know, he looks like Batman. All the other ones, like Michael Keaton short, Christian Bale skinny.
Yeah.
Even when he was bulked up, it's like, bro, get out of here.
Well, I mean, what DC trilogy is better than The Dark Knight?
These recent Spider-Man movies, you can make a good argument.
Is that DC? That's not DC.
Oh, you said DC.
Yeah, DC.
DC?
Yeah, what in DC is touching Dark Knight? Well,
does DC have a trilogy?
Well, I don't know.
Does DC have 3 movies that actually made it to 3 movies?
No, I think you got 2 Aquamans, 2 Wonder Womans. Was there Man of Steel? Was there ever any more?
No, because that movie also sucked.
That movie sucked too.
I don't think nothing's made. Wait, unless you want to count. No, I mean those original Batmans in the 90s, but I don't look at them. I guess they follow the same story.
Yeah, I mean they're all just. I mean, we have so many versions of Batman now.
Yeah, that's what I was like. And the ones in the 90s, like, is that a trilogy? It was like a different.
You add in the TV shows and stuff like that. Like, if you don't know what happened to Batman,
that's a good point. I don't think. Does DC have other trilogy? That's a good question. But if it does, Batman beats it. Like,
yeah, Dark Knight's killing.
Like, I can't even think of something that's going to be better than that, right?
Yeah, Heath Ledger alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace, Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger just alone. Liam Neeson as
Ra's al Ghul. Yeah, that shit's cool.
You got the iconic Bane, and I love those movies because
Bane was cool.
They had great one-liners, and that was the thing about it. It was like it was very psychological, very Christopher Nolan, very. Like it focused so the depth of the realism of the character.
I like the second one, Dark. Obviously, the one with the Joker. There was nothing in that movie that felt like it couldn't happen in real life.
Yeah, that's what it makes.
Because there was no superpowers. It was all like everybody's villain was and heroes. It was all like doable. It was just Joker's just literally just a crazy guy.
Yeah, he's a crazy guy, but it's like to a point where you couldn't stop him. He kind of betrayed the people, and he. Yeah. Like he looks at Batman in a certain way. He just wanted to break Batman, make Batman kill, or make people kill.
Yeah, like when he's got him in the one of my favorite scenes is when he's got him in the when he's interrogating him, and he was like, "Why do you want to kill me?" He's like, "I don't want to kill you." That's crazy. He's like,
complete me.
Yeah, he's like banging his head on the deal, and then
he's like, "Man, he's like, first you shouldn't go for the head.
It's just like first fuzzy." Yeah. That's classic, dude. It's hard
making him choose between both people.
Yeah, and then giving them the wrong ad, then switching them.
Yeah.
To where he saves the wrong one. And Harvey Dent being Two-Face, like that way was cool.
Yeah.
Like getting half his face burned.
Just half of burnt and everything, and then like makes him corrupt because he was supposed to be this pure person. No, the movie, like just the psychological is just so good about the movie. But Christopher Nolan, the director, is amazing.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of his movies. I haven't watched his recent ones. He did Oppenheimer and 10-10.
I heard Oppenheimer is crazy. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't watched that either. I haven't watched Oppenheimer. I haven't watched 10-10. But I watched like all his other ones. Was Inception? I love Inception. Inception's great.
Still don't know what happened, but I like
it. Right? Like it's so much. It's just like these crazy concepts.
Did you ever watch Lost?
So I've seen. It's funny. I saw like season 1 and 2, and I saw like season 6 and 7. And I skipped all the middle part.
Yeah,
it like there was like some parts with some bears. I was like,
Yeah, it all went crazy, but.
And then the ending was weird.
Yeah, it just reminded me of Inception because at the end of it, you're just like, I don't know what happened exactly.
Lost is really weird because I think at the end, it's 3 timelines.
Yeah, well, yeah, they were time traveling. Yeah, I've watched it several times. I'm still trying to figure out what happened. But the running theory is that Jack died on the airplane and that everybody died on the airplane and that this was like Jack in like purgatory trying to work through all his stuff before he like moved on. Which is a cool theory.
That makes way more sense than 3 different timelines.
Yeah, because,
one where they die, one where they save, one they end on the island.
Yeah,
they split it.
Yeah, I think, and that seems to make sense because Jack grows as a character. First he's just the asshole doctor with dad problems and shit, and then by the end he's like he becomes the caretaker of the island. But it seems like it seems like a good theory that it's him just working through all the stuff he went through, and like
I think I like that one.
Even if it's not right, we like that. I like that one better.
Lost was a weird time where I felt like you could just put out any type of show and it can go on forever.
Yeah,
because now I couldn't see a show like Lost not get canceled on season 2.
Yeah, it's like Manifest was similar to it. I think they might.
I've never
be trying
seen
to finish Manifest. Manifest is kind of like that. I don't know. It's weird to me that we have more redo of shows and movies than new stuff, it seems like. So they just love going and grabbing.
It's art. And I always say this is where you get in like the more social, psychological point of like things. And it's like, everything's reused. Everything, and like nothing's original. I don't care what nobody says. Nothing is original. Even when people want to bring up music, at the end of the day,
everybody's taking music,
every song, every music we do derives directly from blues. Everything. Even when people want to say country is just blues. Everything country is blues. People want to be like, no, country's blues. Rap is blues. Because rap is R&B. And R&B is rhythm and blues.
Yeah.
And, what's before blues? You tell me. But all music comes from that because R&B, rock and roll comes from R&B.
Yeah.
Right? Everything comes from blues. Nothing's recreated. Nothing's new. You're not going to be the first rapper to talk about girl problems. You're not going to be the first person to brag about a ride. Before we got cars, we had chariots. Before we had chariots, we had horses. Right? Like, there's nothing new. And
imagine
I think
the rap song about, like, I just got this new Clydesdale. We're going through.
That's country.
We're going through the town.
That's country talking about your horse or your dog.
Yeah.
Country talks about their truck, horse, or dog.
Yeah, I just put diamonds on my chariot wheels. And
right.
Shit
well,
like
you got the new leather. You got the new studded leather.
The newest leather.
The new studded leather. Your horse got the new shoe. Yeah, that's all that is. But like everything's when you get in a certain stagnant area, and this is where we're in. We're in a certain stagnant area, and this is like we're in a capitalistic world, right? Money overtakes. This is the same thing with Marvel, anything else. We have a great idea. When money overtakes, creativity falls. This is just, it happens. I don't care what nobody says. This is like a formula. It's always going to happen.
Yeah.
This is the reason why if you hear people that make music, and I was like talking to a friend, KB, he's a great music person. Shout out to Cake House.
Yeah, shout out to Cake House.
KB. When it comes to like people, we were talking about producers. There's certain producers you go to if you want to make real rap music. We're talking about The Alchemist. If somebody's doing a project Alchemist, they want to rap. That's creativity. If you want to like make a hit, you go into Pharrell. Not saying that hit won't be popular, it won't be big, but it's like kind of like Pharrell's not hungry. Nobody's hungry. Nobody's making something out of it. It's kind of like whatever, right? Yeah. Like there's no need to create something new that's going to be popular.
Yeah, let's put out what brings us money.
And one of the strongest things when it comes to that overtakes creativity is nostalgia. This is why Dragon Ball came back.
Yeah.
You throw enough money at the guy, he's like, all right, we'll bring back Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
And most people are going to watch Dragon Ball versus watch a new anime. New animes are getting bigger, but eventually you're going to see the same thing. And it happens over and over and over again. That's why Avatar: Last Airbender is coming back. Yeah. You telling me in America we ain't found something new?
Yeah, they're gonna try another live action. This?
Yeah, like we're bringing so much old stuff back. Like we're still using new He-Man on Netflix. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Am I looking at another He-Man? Why am I looking at? How many times did we recreate Looney Tunes or Scooby Doo?
Yeah, really.
Right? Why are we reditioning that? Why aren't we creating new stuff? But it's just the error.
Like live action Lion King that was like word for word, damn near the same movie.
Exactly.
Live action.
Yeah, just live action. We're just going to redo it. And I think this is like, because the economy always affects economy, all this stuff, capitalism. You go through a dip, you get to the depression, and out of the depression, this is where you will hit a rise back in creativity. Why do you think rap had that boom? Because people at that time was talking about what they really felt. Then, that's when you had the real aggressive rap. Like they were attacking the track,
Yeah.
They were going out there, they were doing the beats, everything was authentic. They were, they were hustling, they were broke, everything else. Now, studio looks at a person. They don't even need to look at a person. It's like sign here and say one thing, AI got you. Right? Like there's no reason to create nothing great.
Yeah.
This is just a society now. That's why I look at them like, okay, whatever. But then everybody's happy for Usher. More people are happy for Usher than almost any new project that dropped last year.
Oh, like Usher coming last
Usher
night, being on
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, more people because it was all nostalgia. That's why nostalgia's strong. Yeah. That's why greatest hits will drop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's why it's like, name the last time you heard a really good Lil Wayne song that you was just like, this is fire.
It's been a little bit.
It's been a little bit. And if you're like a very big Lil Wayne fan, sure, you're diehard.
Yeah.
Same thing with Eminem. But they peaked.
Yeah, they've peaked.
Both
of them have.
They're not gonna drop anything that you're gonna be like, this is the one.
I was big into Eminem for a long time, dude. Yeah. And it's just like I've set it to the side because it's just like, I don't know, we've got our best Eminem, I feel like, already.
Yeah. And he's comfortable. He's not mad. He's not mad at his mom. He reconciled that.
Yeah.
He's not mad at his girlfriend. He's reconciled that. He's not upset. He's not
on drugs.
He's not on drugs. He's clean.
Yeah.
You know, he's got past all his struggles, right? And people liked Eminem, and he was creating some fire because he was struggling.
Yeah.
Right. And if you don't, and everybody's like, no, people can be happy and make music. Yeah, you got Flow Rider. And when you got Pitbull and Flow Rider, right?
Yeah.
Those are the people. Fireball, right? And those don't make the global hits that are fun songs, right? But
because those are needed too,
Those are definitely needed, but it's kind of like, but still, like, the thing is, like, where's that album that makes you feel like 2004, 2003 probably is during, like, I think 2000, 2008, or maybe 2010 is the peak of hip hop. I always say this.
Yeah.
Best albums. 2003 and 2004, we're in the 20th anniversaries of legendary albums. Like College Dropout, Get Rich or Die Trying. Carter 2. Yeah. Like, these are probably, you can debate. People will debate, these are some of their best projects.
Yeah. I like the Carter 3.
Carter 3, it's still in that same timeline,
I liked T.I. had the big one. T.I. versus T.I.P. or whatever.
T.I. versus T.I.P. I think that dropped in 2007 or 8.
Yeah.
Even then, he had the project before that had ASAP and everything on it. ASAP, ASAP.
Oh, yeah.
And then the project before that, bring them out.
Yeah.
It's
hard to yell with the barrels in your mouth. Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, he had hits like, and you think about it, like Usher, Confessions, the 20th anniversary of Confessions is next year or maybe the year after.
Yeah.
But it's like, and that's probably his best project. Like, people are going to say, no, Confessions is the best, right? But that was like the peak of like rap and R&B. You hit certain times. Some people say the peak of music is the 80s. There's different times when you have certain genres where it's peaked. Now, I don't know what's really popular in music.
I don't know. I'm like recording music. I've burnt out on music. Like, if I get in a car, I'm not listening to music. Like, very rare.
Really?
No, it's podcasts. That's all I listen to.
I would have said just listen to just really old school.
Yeah.
But like go very old school where you can almost tell that person's messing with every instrument.
Yeah.
And like, because I always say like some of the greatest artists was in that time, and it's like Prince and Michael Jackson are just next level. Yeah. Like, even when I see people talking about the Super Bowl, those are the best Super Bowl performances. Prince and Michael Jackson. Usher may be up there now. You can debate on others. Prince and Michael Jackson is the best one. Michael Jackson is the reason why the Super Bowl halftime show is like it.
Yeah.
Like the way it is now. A lot of people don't know that. Because, and there's different reasons why, but nobody had a big name performing till it was like 93, 94. Michael Jackson.
I like when Janet Jackson did it.
Janet Jackson. Hey, that was 20 years ago?
Yeah, I was watching the TV.
Justin Timberlake, and he's like, oh.
Yeah, I was a little ass kid.
Iconic. You know what? She in top 5. Yeah, that's top 5. Everybody remembers that.
We like that one.
Yeah, that's iconic, bro.
Yeah.
Is that one Prince playing Purple Rain in the Rain? These are iconic ones, right? But like, that was the era of like music where you listen to instruments like Earth, Wind, and Fire. Listen to old school, like Little Richard, like, when you listen to that and you see the authenticism, I'm messing that word up, the authentic music of what they're playing and just like play around and how music was orchestrated differently is so different. Like, I look at it like, I saw somebody saying the reason we listen to rap the way it is, LL Cool J kind of made it that way. Like with the whole verse, bar, verse, type, with verse, hook, verse type of thing, around 3 to 5 minutes, kind of like LL Cool J really refined that. But if you listen outside of that, it may help you with creativity, may want to think of more. Don't confine yourself to what everybody else is doing, because songs are shorter. I hear a fire beat and it's like 2 minutes long. I'm like, it's like one verse, a hook and verse, or like 2 hooks and 1 verse.
But it is, but that's for streaming though, because if you and that's what I tell people. It's
for streaming, it's for money.
For money, yeah. Because if you give people everything they need to hear that first time, they're not playing the song back.
That's true.
So if you have like a really great hook, and it's only in there twice. Yeah. Like, I've had songs like that throughout time, and sometimes these songs were like 5 minutes long. Like DJ Khaled, there was a time where these songs, he'd have all these people on these songs, and by the end, all right, it's time to go to the next song because I've heard it enough. But then there's been like these other songs where the hook was so good, and then the song ends. It's like, okay, I got to run that back. You know what I'm saying? Because you almost, like in the time of streaming, you almost want to leave the person wanting more when the song ends. because they're not going to buy your album.
Yeah.
Because that's just not how music functions anymore.
Yeah, music doesn't work like that.
You want them to replay the song, basically. That's the scheme.
And you see, because we're focusing more on buying the music, music's not bought like that. It's about the stream. It's now taken away from the creativity. But at the same time, how it works, you could find a way to find a creative process through that. You know, somebody that's struggling and wanting that music, then probably figure out a way and create some really great music in the memes of these ways.
But here's another thought to think about. Clips. TikTok, short form, everything is changing that to where there's people that don't listen to the full song all they ever hear is these clips. So maybe their attention span is getting even smaller to the fact like the song may be 2 minutes long, but they may just know that 30-second clip, and that may be satisfying. Being able to hear that over and over.
That is the thing where it's kind of like controlling or nurturing or kind of it's making the minds go in a certain way.
Yeah.
Right. And you only listen, like people get in the car, they go on long trips, they listen to podcasts but if you're scrolling through your phone, which everybody does, you're not watching a 2-hour podcast before you going through.
Well, I mean, I might, but
most people, you're different because you're in the studio you're different. Most people look at a clip, go, clip, go, clip, go. Right. And it's different when it comes to that. That's why it's just kind of like, I think they are, we are letting society, capitalism, the media make our attention span short and I think that works because this is election year. Plus, we got to deal with just in media. We see the first bit of news, we believe it, right? Like, oh, that got to be true. We don't research it, right? Whatever's the first thing, and we'll argue about it. It's like, no, listen to the whole thing, right? Like, there's no way I hear a TikTok about something, 30 seconds. That's the full story.
Yeah.
Nope. Now I need to, but I try and research and like know what's going on, the ins and outs.
There's a lot of false information out there.
There's a lot of false information, and there's too much information.
Too much information. More information now than ever.
Like there's too like with Marvel with so much. There's just like every time, like somebody was telling me about like, did you hear what's going on in Texas? I'm like, no, I didn't hear that because this is going on in Texas. This is going on.
Yeah.
This is going on in the world, right? Like America's funding 2 wars. That's crazy. We're funding 2 wars. This is a wild thing because it's like people telling me about Israel and people telling me about Ukraine. I'm just like, bro, I can't keep up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we have homeless people and
then
our
we
own
have
our own issues.
We have our own issues. All this stuff going on. We got to worry about our money. The economy's going crazy. And there's just it's just so much that's happening. Like I look at news, sometimes I just got to give myself a break.
Yeah, you have to get off of it.
Yeah.
But social media, and that's like social media is designed though to keep you there. And it's like even Instagram, or I guess it would be Meta. Meta's got in some trouble recently about they're getting accused of making it so addictive and like not. Which I mean, I get it though. At the same time, it's like that's their job, and it's like it would be our job to not get addicted to it.
That's weird, right? That's a weird concept. This is why I feel just on like drugs is weird because I feel like there's not a fair argument on drugs, right? Like for years, marijuana was banned, right?
Yeah.
But alcohol has been the most addicting, deaths tied to it, abuse tied to it. The worst things in life, alcohol is tied to it in suicide, in beatings, car crashes, everything.
Yeah, drunk driving, liver damage,
and it's
pancreatic.
Yeah, and it's all right. Cigarettes is terrible, kills you.
Yeah.
But then it's like marijuana is bad, and it's like what?
Yeah, they just picking.
And the argument doesn't fit. That's why I was like, that's That's hypocritical, right? Yeah. But it's at the same time, it's like it's your choice, right? At the end of the day, that's why I kind of like. Well, I get on. There's your choice, like yes or no. Do you want to do this? But at the same time, I understand like if that's all you see, that's all you know. Yeah, you probably smoke. Maybe you'll drink. Because I know, like, we're in the South. I know plenty of people that were drinking young, smoking young.
Yeah.
Right? I can't, that's kind of like their culture.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is the culture.
I was telling people about drinking and driving. Like, I play on Xbox with some friends, and they were like, drinking and driving's bad. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but it's a little bit different if you're in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's a little bit different because they kind of encourage it. You just drive through, here's your alcohol.
Yeah, like drive-thrus.
Yeah, drive-thrus.
Don't drink and drive, but come pick your beer up at a window.
Yeah. And they were kind of like, no, that's so bad. I was like, I'm not arguing it's not, but this is the culture here.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the thing where it's like, if it's a culture again, now it's like you're putting a law against a culture.
Yeah.
Right? Now you're saying this is bad and that's a culture. But that's the same thing like you go over to like the Middle East, they have laws that's crazy, but that's their culture,
that's
right?
Their culture, yeah.
And it's kind of difficult to say like with drugs, like, you know, you are making that decision, right?
Yeah.
You know, you wake up every day with a choice.
Yeah. But they do, I don't know. You can, once you get addicted though, it becomes, I mean, it is still a choice, but at the same time, you can get wrapped up in something on not necessarily on accident because you make the first decision. You can't get it over your head.
Thing, it's hard to quit. And that's like, but it's like, that's so difficult. The same thing like obesity is a disease. I tell people obesity is a disease. I'm fat. I'm big. I've always been big, but I'm real big. Obesity is a choice and it's a disease. And it's so hard to stop being fat when you get older. Right? Same thing, right?
Yeah.
So hard to not get it. Some people be like, oh no, addiction's bad. Yes, addiction is terrible. And that's a hard thing because like some people don't know how bad addiction is. Right?
Yeah.
And that's where you go ignorance versus knowing. And it's like all these are like hard decisions, but like, do you want the government to make the choice for you? Or do you feel you can make the choice? Ultimately, if we go statistically, we can't make that choice on our own. The common person can't make that choice.
No.
But then it's kind of messed up to say the government tells us what to drink and eat.
Yeah, but that's
kind of, you know.
But unless you're just going to go live off the land and do like,
even then collecting rainwater is illegal.
Yeah.
And nowadays being homeless is illegal. So you kind of can't live off that land. They're making it where you can't do that either.
Yeah, it's interesting. You do have to, I don't know, we call it being normal, we call it fitting into society, but what it really is
I mean, it's just the way of times. Like I was talking the last one of the podcasts you talking about he said racism disease. I don't believe racism is disease. Racism is a culture thing.
Yeah, I think it's taught.
We're in a cancel culture. Yeah. They were in a cancel culture during the time. The cancel culture then was if you're black, leave.
Yeah.
You're talking to black guys,
that's a different type of cancel.
It was a different type of cancel culture.
You're canceled. Yeah.
Yeah, you're canceled.
It's still canceling, but
it was just on a whole different. Now it's the same thing. Like the rules that we don't see fit, we say yes or no, which is not fair. Like we're talking about Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. Yeah. That doesn't seem fair. That seems biased.
Yeah.
Well, we see the same biasness on a worse way, but it's kind of like, you know, we're all trying to find our way. Yeah. And I think the way things are, like in America, we can be like that. And I always say this is a beautiful thing, but also a dangerous thing. How we choose love, how we live our life is not about surviving. If you think about it, right? Like I have my own business, you have your own business, and we want to live off of it, but we're not doing it like off of surviving, right? Like if things went that bad, we had to go get a job.
Yeah.
But it's not like we're hunting and gathering. Like I gotta find a wife, or you know, the lineage of the human race is gone.
Yeah, it is.
Right? We gotta go fight this war. No, like, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We're pretty, you know, we're making these choices. Like in the day, we're debating over on this podcast.
Yeah, so they're on this podcast debating about
addiction and Dragon Ball Z and anime. You know, other people out here like, am I gonna live? Am I gonna have food tomorrow?
Right.
You know, like. And they got to make decisions off that. Like, you know, people can choose to do a lot of things. A lot of people don't have a choice. That's why, like, they kind of get married to a certain person. They have to because they got to keep their group of people alive.
Yeah, and even in other countries, like, you have to, they just tell you who to marry.
They tell you who you marry, but it's kind of like to keep that group alive, they kind of have to do that.
Yeah.
Right? Or you got to, like, go into hard labor and work these coal mines at a young age, and hopefully you don't get bronchitis at 12. Right? Like we don't
know about
those issues at all. So we kind of have a little free, but at the same time, we're also now lead to our own devices. This is why relationships suck. Right? That's why there's a relationship podcast. I was like made a status. Relationships aren't that hard. But at the same time, alcohol and stuff is not that hard. But at the same time, if whatever I'm seeing, I'm gonna act like it. You know?
Right.
Like it comes like, do you smoke marijuana, whatever else? I cannot. Yeah. Weed is not my thing.
Yeah, I can't either.
Because it's a hard drug to me.
Yeah.
Right? I can't do that. Right? I drink, but I don't care for it. Yeah. I like my normal mind.
Yeah, that's I think that's a cool thing to figure out. Like that's where I'm at now because I'm off everything. And it's like it's cool to like myself a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Not a little bit, but a lot. It's cool to like yourself a lot and be like not have to have something extra, especially something that costs.
Yeah, there's something that costs. Like
you have to spend money to get into a different mindset.
When I found out, being young, found out like lean and Zans, what they was, and I was like, you're paying to go to sleep? This is cool. Yeah. I'm in the club, and you want me to lean on the corner and be half asleep in the club? No, what?
Yeah, it's one thing to go get prescribed something like, because lean is like, okay, I have like the real deal flu or something, okay.
Yeah.
But like to go out of your way and take medicine that's just going to make you tired, yeah, I mean, that's just, it doesn't really make all
It doesn't make sense.
But people do what they see.
But again, we can do that in this area, in this capitalism world, we can do that, right?
Yeah.
And I think we become too entitled. Like this,
no doubt.
As a country, we're just so entitled, right? I was looking at I try and like look at like two sides of news. Looking at the Super Bowl, then I was looking on Twitter, and this is what's happening, but the Super Bowl don't. And then we were bombing places. I was like, oh wow, and they were freaking out, like, dang, we have it so great, And I look at it, I was like, it's so simple, like relationships, or even not saying addiction, but it's kind of like you don't have to drink, you don't have to smoke,
Yeah.
But
it does take
it takes a lot because it's a physical reaction.
Yeah.
Addiction, and this is the thing, we're all addicted to something.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And people we only look at addiction like when it comes to marijuana, drugs, but anything could be a drug because you can be addicted to sex.
Yeah.
And addictions can be learned. A lot of people think it's always like a chemical reaction. There's certain things of like the dopamine, you get addicted to certain feelings.
Yeah.
And that's what you get, and you chase this feeling because it's never the same as the first time. You're always chasing that.
Yeah.
And then you use the run away from your feeling, run away from your problems. I know plenty of people, they like get addicted. I know functioning meth addicts, and I know meth addicts that used it to just ruin their lives.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man,
Yeah, learning to face your problems is probably the best bet. Every angle you look at it, and I think this is kind of what you're saying. Every way you look at life is hard. It's almost like choose your hard. I know you've heard that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So choose your hard. Like you can choose your hard because if you go try to drown your sorrows with liquor, there's new problems that come from that. There's new sorrows that are gonna come from drinking liquor to get rid of your pain, or doing this to get rid of your pain, or doing this. It's like you have to get to a point where you love yourself. You have to get to a point where you like yourself and like what's going on in the moment, because that's another thing about like setting goals. Like you do a lot of stuff. If the goal you just reached didn't satisfy you, what's the point of setting another goal?
That's true.
So you have to learn to love getting to the goals.
You got to want it.
Right.
I always come down because we use need. I feel like people use need. I need this. No, you want it.
Want it. Yeah, no doubt.
Right? We're not in a survival thing, right? Like as long as you're eating, as long as you got a place to sleep, your needs are met. So what do you want? Because you can eat terrible food and live, but you want something nicer? Yeah. Well, you got to work for it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to work for it. Sometimes it's not as easy. Sometimes you got to get out your comfort zone if you want it, right? And that's the thing. Like, and some battles are harder. I'm not taking away from addiction, but there's plenty of people to show if they want to get clean and get over addiction, they'll do it.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing about like being in America, in Texas, in this area, and other areas. There's people to help you get over this.
Yeah, get help. And that would be my encouragement. Like if you're struggling with addiction, get help.
Get help. Yeah. But you got to want to be happy. I don't think people want to be happy. I think people want to complain. I think people want a struggle.
Yeah.
I think people pick, you say choose your heart. I think people pick their struggle.
Yeah, that's true.
I be hearing some like people always like complaining. I'm like, dang, bro. And nothing wrong. Like sometimes I get it. Things suck. But then I just see people like, be happy. Be grateful. You know? I have
But
friends.
That's a choice though.
Yeah, that is a choice.
Like when you wake up in the morning, like, and this, I was talking, it was one of them guys, they were on Theo Vaughn or whatever talking. He was giving this is one of them smart guys, philosophical.
On Theo Vaughn?
Yeah.
I didn't see that on Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn's funny to me.
Yeah, dude, he's hilarious. I love Theo. But I think it was like, I can't think of his name. He does these deals. I could tell you. This dude's basically like I hate to say life coach but he works with high level people.
Yeah.
Like Steph Curry type people.
Okay.
And teaches and helps them with the mental aspects that they need to be as great as they are. And so he was like, starting your day, like going through physical routines, like saying out loud what you're grateful for. And like breathing and doing stuff like that. And it's like physically
say your affirmations.
Yeah, but how can you be on, if you made it your mindset every day to bring up what you're grateful for, it's going to be a lot harder to complain. If you set that, if we were to start every day like that.
It's like reprogramming your brain.
Right.
And I think a lot of times you got to reprogram certain things in your brain because you get stuck in this monotonous way of thinking and living. And that's why I say with like relationships, like everybody wants to move on or whatever else. You can get what you want. I don't care what a relationship podcast say. A woman is overweight and got 5 kids, she can find a baller. I know plenty of them that end up settling down and you be like, why is he with her? He's happy. He choose that.
Yeah.
Versus insert beta male or what's the word they call these men that don't get nothing or whatever else. It's a certain word, not just beta. It's a whatever kind of man that thinks
simp?
He's maybe a simp or whatever else.
I don't know, man. I'm tapped. I'm not as tapped into
the red pill type of whatever guy that watches too much Andrew Tate and they think. They can get
top G's.
Yeah, they can get themselves a baddie. They can get themselves the finest thing, and they.
Are you talking about like an alpha male?
No, ones that think they're alpha male, but they're not.
Okay.
But they talk like the keyboard warrior. They talk like it, but they're not.
Okay, yeah.
You look at them like, bro, you don't. You can get anything you want. But understand and be upset that it may be harder.
Yeah.
Right. If you want to pick and you want to be picky with what you want, then it's a minute.
Yeah.
But if you just want to get with somebody, it's out there. If you want to make things work, it's out there. Like, you got to be enough to overcome your differences. And sometimes we can't. I've dealt with not plenty. I haven't dated that many. I've done some weird situations on relationships where we just had to, like, overcome certain things. Yeah. And we couldn't. And, but, like, I always feel like there's a way to overcome if you're ready to overcome your personal stuff.
Right.
Because not everybody's going to play well with your demons. Your past trauma.
Yeah, and they'll have their own.
And they'll have their own. Yeah. That's the same thing. Like, anybody can be there and help, but you got to know, like, don't hurt the people that are helping you. There's just, I think life is way simple. And in America, we just overcomplicate. There's too many.
Make it a lot more complicated.
There's too many self-help podcasts and red pill relationship podcasts for me. I'm weirded out. Like, it's not that hard. We are all.
But see, that can go back to capitalism. Like, it's working, so they make it. Like,
it's by design. It's clearly by design. Yeah. And you go and it's not even conspiracy theory because a lot of it confirmed like rap music in the early 90s, CIA took over. This is like documents. You can look this up. They took over the rap music and curved it where it is now. And they do that with a lot of media. So they use media to control how people are. That's why you think it's abnormally too many single moms and men don't want to take care of their family. That's all by design.
Really?
It separates people and you can find out the reason why. I don't know. I just look at and read like these legit documents. You can look all these documents up. Just like they said they were aliens, but they did it in a certain way. We don't care that they legit said they were aliens.
Yeah.
All this time.
I think there's aliens.
No, they said it.
Yeah. But I thought there was aliens before they told me.
See, but a lot of people, you saw them naysayers. There's no alien, you're being dumb. And now they proved a lot of conspiracy theories right.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, this is all by design. But I was like, you got to kind of step yourself away and just realize it's not that bad.
Yeah.
You can live life. That's why it's just like, and I think it's your area. I always tell people, if you complain about Texas, kind of move. And everybody, I don't got the money. I can help you. I tell people all the time, I'm probably the poorest person you'll ever meet. Legit. I traveled the country. I've traveled outside the country. I barely have money. Everything I do is put back in to what I do, paying somebody back that blessed me to help me to get where I am. Or it's like me giving money to people and me paying it forward. I always tell people the one thing I learned from high school was watching Pay It Forward every free day class.
Yeah.
All those years. You just want to help people. But it's like, I'm always broke. I'm never having any money. I'm just straight broke. I'm just like, it's so easy. Like I've been in Dallas several times just to start the year. Where did I go? I don't know if I traveled last year, but I've, went to Vegas. I went to, been outside the country. I've never had a lot of money. Everybody's like, do your events make money? Yeah, they make some decent money. I put a lot more in than would come out. I want to get to a place where I got like stupid money. Then I can flex, but
yeah,
I ain't,
it's still in the process part.
Yeah, it's still in the process. And that's why I tell you, like, game is free. I want to help people, like, I want to get over here and do this. Like, I went to Austin. I still have some connection to Austin. I was doing music stuff, started a wrestling TV show, work with wrestlers. And these are things like I guess I did the affirmations. I spoke a lot of things in existence for me, just out of like stupidity and confidence before it happened. And it happened, but I kept doing the work.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what counts.
I don't let simple things like you don't have money stop you. No wrong. Having money can make things way better.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And I think we get in our way because we want to believe the doubt. Because we're too scared to succeed. Like I even say for myself, I feel like I still have some fear of succeeding, of being successful. And it's weird because like once you feel successful, you reach that level, and you're just like, well, what do I do? Because you're not ready to live happy.
Yeah, if you so like right now we're in the middle of the grind. You've got to learn to love yourself and love what you're doing now, or it won't matter if you get successful or not. In my opinion, because I feel like I don't know. It's about like if life is about being happy and doing the things you want to do, then you've got to learn how to do that, regardless of the circumstances.
There was a thing like I forget what is called like is your dedication. You put 18 minutes in a day, but you got to want it, right? But then you got to also want to take a step back and put a break. Don't ruin the things you love. I've been bad about that. I ruin a lot of things I love, like wrestling, anime. I'm so burnt because like that's my life. I live way too much in it, and now like I want a vacation. I want to chill out.
Yeah, like the studio is.
Like your studio,
I've burnt out.
You want to burn yourself out.
I have crashed and burned as far as recording
and recording because it gets in a certain way.
It gets repetitive.
It does, and you got to kind of like you got to find a balance. And these are things like, and this is where I feel we're not taught that. Like I wasn't taught like not to live my life in a grind. My dad lived a life on a grind.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, I'm gonna be burnt out.
Yeah, mine too. I don't know. My dad's been doing the same thing. You know what our business is.
Yeah, just constantly doing it.
And his dad did the same thing. So it's like,
it's a family business. You're going through the cycle, but now you're realizing, especially then, like you don't have to burn yourself out. You don't have to do that. You can take yourself back. You can enjoy things. You can enjoy life.
Yeah,
we're in America. America got the best of everything.
Yeah, and so I see all these posts and stuff. Like I posted about this the other day. People say, oh, my baby's gonna grow up in this world. I'm so scared. And then to me, it's like, dude, there's been way worse times for babies.
There's babies being born right now in places that are being bombed, war, fighting, all this other stuff, and people are so worried. And I think this is where it's like I think entitlement, like they're missing the point. Like they're worried about this, and you're too much on social media.
Yeah.
Take a step away from social media. Look away from it.
But there's a different. That's a whole new world in itself that they've created through social media, and I don't think that people are ready to. I think instead of moving away, which is healthier, I think we're moving into a time period where people are going to get more deeper into social media, and I think social media is going to turn into something almost metaverse like, where
that's the goal is, and I think that's definitely the goal, especially since we had the pandemic. That seems like where everything's going towards it. I want to get to the place where I can step away from my phone more because every time I'm not looking at my phone, I'm blowing up with this. I wake up to like 50, 20.
Yeah.
I had to now I keep my phone on silent. At one point, I would just keep it on and it was like, couldn't sleep.
Too much, yeah.
I literally couldn't sleep. I couldn't safely scroll. I couldn't do that. It was like a minute time. Like I'd stay up super late. No, I got peace to look at my phone. And it was just too much. And I'm like, you know what? I want to stay away from my phone. I don't,
Yeah, I think what a lot of people are going to find as social media gets more in depth of what it is, I think a lot of people are going to find peace in going back the other direction, going out in the woods, being outside.
And that would be, hopefully, that would be great. Because even me, like I move out into living in the woods and I enjoy the peace. I enjoy just to myself because like I'm not one that out there. Like I go out to some events, I go and do these things, but I put on events. I put on fun stuff, but I like to be to myself and I like just be out there, just enjoy when it gets good weather. People like cold, I prefer it warm. I like to be outside. I like to tan. I always tell people, I can always be darker. Enjoy the sun. That was one thing. I liked the pandemic. Popular opinion.
Yeah.
Because, I got to be to myself. I got to, be to myself. I didn't have to worry about doing an event. I got to really chill, and I could go on car rides. Gas was cheap. I could go sightseeing.
Yeah.
And then I didn't worry about nobody being close to me. I thought it was peaceful.
Yeah.
Pandemic was peaceful to me because I was like, oh, cool. I could be away from people. Said, don't be close to people. That was easy for me.
Yeah.
I
need to socialize. but at the same time, but I work for myself, and so I'm alone a lot.
You need a network.
Yeah. So I have to. I don't know. I have to. When I stay to myself too much, I feel like I'm missing something. You know what I'm saying? Because interacting with people, I feel like is important. That's why I like doing the podcast and stuff. And like this has brought new creativity in my life that I needed because like when I burned out from music, like I just reverted back to like my old working habits and stuff like that. And I wasn't doing anything that was like stimulating my mind really. And so like to get back in here and to be having engaging, conversations and stuff like this has been good for me. The podcast's been cool, man.
I've had a few podcasts and it's like, I've never did one on my own. I always try and like do it with people and it's difficult because their lives change and stuff. And right now I'm in a place, I need to find something I love and want to do that's separate from work.
Yeah.
I made work almost a part of everything to the point of like, hanging out with people, it's part of work, Like I'm friends with wrestlers, friends with rappers, but it's like everything's revolving around doing a project. And I need to have friends that does not involve me treating something like a job.
Yep.
That won't burn me out, that I just like for the love of the game. That's why I'm in the process of just figuring stuff out. And I know some people do it like in a relationship, like, oh, you need to find a relationship. And I'm like, that complicates. I don't know about it. A lot of people, it's wild out here.
Yeah, I've when we were talking about dating earlier, I've been with the same girl for 2012.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
that is beautiful.
So, and basically one of the main things I've used as my roadmap is like do everything social media is telling you not to. So I just kind of like countered it. I don't and that shit works.
That's a beautiful I'm gonna use that. I think
like we don't post each other very much, and this is just this. I mean, we post the kids and stuff, but like we're not super out there with our relationship.
Yeah,
we're not like even in public. Like we're not even back when we first got together. We're not just like all over each other, all that stuff.
Yeah.
We were friends first, and we're still friends. And it's like I don't know. If you sit around and you look at what social media is telling you, like what a relationship should be like, and that's why, like, you talk about dating podcasts, it's just like, dude, that's the last thing that I would want to. That's the last place I would want to go for information.
And I see so many people do it. Honestly, what you just said, I'm gonna use that because there's like, for the relationships I've had and everything, is like I had one girl, and like it just frustrates me. We'd be super close. She'd be like, I love you, and I love you, super close. And then one incident happens, she was just like in a text message. I don't think it'll work out. And I'm like, you gonna text me that? Damn. Tell me to my face. And I got offended, like, just tell me in my face. Just have a conversation. She'd be like, if I tell you, I'm gonna want to be with you. And I'm like, then I'll be the bigger man and step away. But like, don't hide behind your phone.
If I tell you, I'm gonna want to be with you.
Yeah. If you tell me in my face, I'm like, no, I will let you go. But like, just have that conversation because I feel like, that's don't do that. Or like, don't hide behind the block button. No, I've said that before, which I get it. People can be annoying, but like in this instance, where else, which is funny, I told, if things don't work out, I'll tell the chick, just block me because I'm going to constantly try and make it work. Because if you're not, and if it's going to be through text, then I'm going to do it through text. If you tell me to my face and you say, hey, it's not going to work, I'll be like, okay. Because I feel like that's how it was.
Yeah.
But now we hide between our phones and stuff like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to date in today's state.
That's why it's rough out here. And I think about it because it's just like I think
you can't get nothing but worse too.
I've done some weird relationships. Like I did weirdly poly. That was weird. You got to be a mature person.
Yeah.
I have a weird thing of bringing the demons out of a person. I don't know how that is. They get mad, and then like they'll send me quotes and memes of relationships. And that's when I know things are going downhill.
That's cringy though, isn't it?
It's cringy, but it's the norm, right? So it's just like, I'm like, I see it and I'm trying to like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Or they send me some. And if I disagree, they'll feel away. I'm like, wait, so you trust that person that you don't even know over how I feel? And it's just like, it's a terrible thing, man. I don't care for it because it's just like, I feel like it ruins whatever we could think we have, like this love or whatever the case may be. Man, dating pool, and then it's like raising kids. And that was something like my dad told me, don't let TV raise you. Yeah. Now I see social media raising kids.
Oh yeah,
because like everybody's on an iPad. Oh, I would be like, great. I was like, I'm 33 now. I'll be 34 this year. So when 29. I got a phone, everybody was shocked. I was like 14 when I got my first phone. Yeah. Right. And everybody like, what? You got a phone? That wasn't the thing. Now Like 8-year-olds got iPads.
Oh yeah, they have everything.
And phones. I would not. I don't think I could. Because
interesting. The kids don't go out. They don't want to go outside.
Yeah.
They don't want to. And like even so we limit my son time on this little tablet deal because he likes to watch his little tractor shows and stuff. Mm-hmm. If it's raining, we can't. Like he's an outside kid though. Yeah. Like he wants to go ride on the 4-wheeler with me. He wants to go do stuff like that. Yeah. I got a bunch of tractors. We take care of cows and shit like that. But like when I do put that phone in front of him, he is a different person.
It just changes him.
No, he's like, I'll come up to him and like me and him are real, like we talk to each other and stuff. He's only 3, but I mean, like that's my boy. But I walk by and be like, I love you, son. And he'll always be like, I love you, daddy. But like if the show is on, he's just there. He's like locked in to just because I'll be like, I love you, son. Nothing. I'll be like, glued. Yeah. I'll be like, hey, like I'll grab his head. Hey, what you doing down there, dude? And he just like nothing.
Is absorbed in.
Yeah, and I feel like, it's tricky because as a parent, you get into these situations. I have 2 kids. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Oh,
so I'm in the trenches, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The reason why I'll tell you exactly why the tablet is so appealing.
Yeah.
As a parent with young kids.
Yeah.
You are at your wits' end like 95% of the time. Like that shit is like when you see people post. Like, and see, Facebook is, not Facebook, but not just Facebook, but social media in general is so fake about all that shit, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's posting their kids. Oh, this is my little angel. This is that. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, them kids is bad. Even a good 3-year-old is still bad.
Yep.
A good 1-year-old is still bad.
Yep.
They're still going to drive you crazy. They're going to drag every toy out. When you put the toys back up, they're going to immediately grab that same toy and put it back on the floor. Every parent is already at their wits' end. They're already anxious. They're already like, especially if you put them in a public environment, like going out to dinner. You just want the kids to act right because you're embarrassed. And people feel like people will look at you and pretend like that have kids and pretend like they never went through that shit and look at you like, damn, why is that 3-year-old acting crazy?
Man,
that 3-year-old's acting crazy because just like your 3-year-old you had once upon a time, that's how 3-year-olds act.
Yep.
But the appeal for the tablet is because you can put that thing
like a parenting handicap.
Yeah. Right. Because you can put that tablet in front of them and you can get away for a second.
Gives you a break.
It gives you a break as a parent. And to an extent, I think if you use it smartly, it can be good because I feel like you have to limit all this shit because if you give your kid, if you take a personal break for 15 minutes, your kid's glued to the tablet, that could be healthy. Put something on decent for him. Don't put no bullshit on his tablet. Here's
monitor.
Yeah,
get him what's going on there.
ABCs, learning something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you go stare at the wall for a minute and try to get your composure because that's really how it is as a parent with like young kids.
That makes a lot of sense. No, I like that.
But that's why. But I think what can happen is that you can get too used to that because like it is tough. It's tough, right? Like if you're the only parent there, especially with all the single parents out there, and you got kids running around. And you could just set them up with a tablet and then they just shut the hell up for a little bit. That's very appealing and it's very tempting.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
And that's where tablet babies are coming from.
Because I do esports and I see like, because streaming's big, right? You want your kid to be a streamer. And one of the things I do tell people is like limit the time.
Yeah.
Because, and everybody's like, what limit time? Is like, first off, you limit the time, it makes them want more. It makes encourage it in their mind to go harder at it. Whatever they're doing, the next time around. They know they got a stream, they got a certain amount of time, it'll put them on a schedule. You need that for streaming. Put them on this. But I was just like, don't have them all day doing this. Don't have them game all day. Have them get some sun. There's things that they need. The eyes can help them look at the screen, but it helps them get some sun, get them to move around, work out, and everything else. That's why a lot of gamers are more skinnier than big because they get out.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, because if you just look at the screen, that's not a healthy lifestyle.
No, it's not at all.
But yeah, that's just my little spiel on the kids deal because I see personally, I'll be in a moment and I'll say the kids will be watching TV and they'll be quiet and it's like they've been raging all day long, and in my head, I'll have that angel and devil conversation with myself. I say, okay, they've been on the tablet too long, but damn, this is nice.
Yeah.
I am enjoying this. But it's like, then I have to make that decision. Okay, we're going to put the tablet up. That's going to piss him off. Mm-hmm. That's going to upset him. Yeah. But it's like, we have to go do something. We have to, or else he is going to want to do this tablet more than anything else. And I think that's when it's too much.
For me, and when I look at it, because like most of like families are all like, why don't you have kids yet? Why don't you do that? And I was said, my thing was always money. Oh, I'm poor. I'm broke. Oh, well, you can't know everything. I can know if I have money. I always wanted to be like a stay-at-home dad. I wanted to kind of like make enough money off of doing events where I can like have things just going, and all I have to do time I be away from my kids doing the events and just kind of stay with them, because then I can kind of give a break or whatever else, and I can help monitor. I feel like it's too many times we're not around our kids enough.
Yeah.
Somebody else is raising them, which it takes a village to raise a child.
For sure.
It's not supposed to be by yourself. But it's just like I never liked the concept. I'm not around my parents. Right? Like me growing up, I never felt like I was around my dad. He was in my life, but I didn't even feel like I saw him. I was like, I see my teachers more than see him. I don't even like my teachers.
Yeah, that's how it is though.
Yeah.
But that's how society is structured now. Like, you almost have to restructure society to get to a point where we actually see our kids.
That's true. I was partly homeschooled for like 2 years of my life, and I loved it. But then also I was lonely, and I didn't realize how good I had it. I wanted friends. So I was like, me seeing that, I was like, okay, if I had some type of friends, I would have been cool homeschooling, because what I was learning versus what I learned in school, way more. And school doesn't really teach you. And most stuff, what you learn actually at an early age.
Yeah.
You kind of go over multiplication in English over and over again. And then they don't teach you, like I said, and then they teach you history in a very biased way.
Yeah, depending on what type of... depending on who's teaching it.
Well, no, just in general, because if you think about it, you learn all through Europe. You don't learn about Africa. You don't really learn about Asia.
Yeah.
You don't learn about America till we get here. So you learn it in a very biased way. You don't really learn, world government doesn't really teach the world, because you only learn about the European people. You don't really learn about Africa in a global thing. Even in a current social study, when you have those classes, what's going on in the world, you don't learn about what goes on in like Asia. You don't learn about all the countries. Like I always tell people, name 10 African countries. Nobody can name 10 African countries. You think you can? Look, you can't say the two known ones. You three known ones. You can't say Egypt. You can't say South from Africa. You can't say Nigeria.
Well, that should count though.
No, because you still got 51 left. Others. There's 51 countries.
51 countries in Africa?
54. I just took 3 out.
Oh man.
Yeah. People don't even know. That's why I'm like,
I'm drawing up blanks. There was one that I was thinking of, but I can't think of the damn name right now. Oh, one time there was a school project.
Are you gonna look it? You gonna look it up?
I'm trying to cheat.
10 African countries.
No, I mean you took a couple of them away.
I took South Africa because it was cheap.
I was gonna say Egypt for damn sure.
We were gonna say Egypt, and I knew everybody says like
Egypt
Nigeria, South Africa. Like take those three. Because it's not taught in school.
No,
it's in media, but you got to know when you're actually seeing it in media. There's 54 in Africa.
Somalia at?
There you go.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
That was a random one. I didn't expect you to say Somalia. That's crazy.
I just like the pirates, the Somalian pirates.
Okay, yeah.
Hide your ship. I'm trying to think of some more. Oh, there's one dude, and it's got like a U in it.
Yeah.
Oh, man, and I know it. I can't. But it's just like if you sometimes somebody asks you something on the spot, especially with like lights and the camera in your face.
You're like, you get starstruck. It gets real
difficult. Where is Yucatan at? That sounds like South America.
South. Oh, yes.
I didn't think this. No, yeah. This is more difficult than I thought.
There's 193, 94 countries in the world, and 54 of them are in Africa. Africa is the second biggest continent.
Yes. What's bigger than that?
Asia.
Okay, yeah.
Asia's really weird because Asia's technically still connected to Europe, so it's very weird that they.
Where's the line?
It's a weird line. It's more man-made line, just like the two Americas are connected, but they made a man-made separation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
I'm stuck, dude.
A lot of people.
Uganda. Uganda. That's the U I was looking for. There's another one. I don't.
Here, off the top of my head, I can just. I'll start naming them. There's Tanzania. There's Madagascar.
I should have named that for the movie. Damn
There's the Congo.
Yeah.
There's Liberia. There's Ethiopia. trying to think what's the easier ones.
There's one that you haven't said.
There's
yet.
Niger. Yeah, there's Nigeria and Niger. There's Central Africa. I was like, I don't want to use Central Africa.
No, I don't.
There's I already said Tanzania. I already said Madagascar. I said Congo.
I'm waiting on you to say the one that's in my brain.
I already said Liberia.
I'm gonna have to contact my friend Mr. Google.
And you're look up and see. There's now I'm blanking out. What's all these African countries? It's funny. I know there's 54.
Kenya, Morocco.
Kenya. That's what I was gonna say. Kenya, Morocco, Ghana. That's
I'm trying Algeria, Mali, Uganda, Madagascar,
Rwanda. That's the one. Hotel Rwanda's the movie. Yeah.
Cameroon, Sudan, South Sudan, Tunisia, Somalia, Angola, Zimbabwe.
That's a known one.
Known that one. Yep. Congo, Guinea.
Yep.
Togo. Zambia, Liberia, Libya. God, there's a lot of them that I didn't. These are countries I've heard before, but I didn't know they was in Africa.
Because they never tie it to it. They just say
Gabon, Gabon, Djibouti. I've heard of that. I'm still looking for the one that I thought, but maybe it was Rwanda. I think it was Rwanda.
And the thing is, if you think about these countries, and this is where I get it, you don't know history of them.
Nothing.
But if I say England, you know the history. If I say France, you know the history. Say Germany, you know the history, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Like Italy, you know the history. Like that's why I said, like, no,
I don't know any Australian history, which that's a whole continent.
That's a continent country, like one giant landmass.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, when it comes to Australia, it was kind of like the people from whatever in Europe, some went to America and some went over here. Yeah. And then any history we had got erased from all the native, not native people, the indigenous people.
Yeah.
Got kind of erased away. But it's just like we don't teach these things. And even in Asia, man, we only talk about Japan, South Korea, North Korea, China. We don't talk about Laos. We don't talk about any of the South Asian places. I'm pretty sure Russia's in Asia and we don't talk about it.
Yeah, Russia is up there by China, near China, right?
Russia's above China and it almost touches Alaska.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy that they're so close.
And I'm pretty sure Russia's
it seems like everything used to touch each other, huh?
I've seen that before. I don't think
you don't think everything touched. Like if you look at the world map, it seems like everything used to be maybe something.
Almost sound like flat Earth.
Is that where you land on that deal?
No,
I just don't. No.
But it's like I'm trying to compose how can I say this without be like, oh man, here we go on some BS. Because the flat earthers, I know flat earthers and they say some crazy stuff. It's like Antarctica and the North Pole doesn't make sense. Because North Pole isn't a continent. And why? And Antarctica doesn't make sense because who owns Antarctica? There's a giant landmass and nobody owns that place. We love taking over countries and continents.
Well, there's everybody's got military stake in Antarctica, right?
Why are they allowed? Why haven't we war over there? And so one person claims it. That don't make sense.
That is weird.
It doesn't make sense. If you think about it, we do that to every place but Antarctica. And here's something.
But it is real shitty up there. I don't know if that factors in. Like that is like super, like almost in an uninhabitable.
I don't see us trying to claim the terrible parts of Russia. Russia has some cold, terrible parts. Ain't nobody fighting over some of the coldest spots in Russia. Yeah. If you look up Russia, Russia will say there's parts of Russia that are so cold nobody has looked in or can make it out. I
was reading the other day that Russia's so big that compared to its population that they need way more people to even be remotely close to filling Russia.
Yeah, I also don't believe half the thing because they can lie. Countries can lie because North Korea invented hot dogs. If you ever look up facts, facts in there, North Korea says the leader creates these things. So countries can lie. That's the thing.
So you're saying they said that North Korea created hot dogs?
You should look up one time things about the fun facts about the leaders of North Korea. They've only hit hole-in-ones. They've never laughed. They're a comedian.
Well, they got dictators though, right? That's Kim Jong-un and all them.
Yeah, but again, a country. If you can lie about that, you can lie about anything.
Yeah,
you're not. you're not like, you don't have to tell the truth. Like, who's going to tell you to tell the truth? Like, you run that country, right? They don't have the same way of doing things. And it's weird that we have like flying rules. We can't just build a plane and just like go everywhere. Can't just go anywhere. No, we can't.
No,
right?
but a part of that is, well, I mean, what they say it is for safety, and another thing is like you don't want to fly. You can't just fly into somebody else's country because we have bombs.
But you can't just fly to Antarctica, and you can't just fly to North Pole. Why? North Pole is
well. I mean, there's military bases and stuff there. You can't just fly over a military base.
What military base is North Pole?
I don't know about the North Pole. I don't know enough about the North Pole to have an opinion.
North Pole's not even a country. That's what I'm saying. We don't even have an opinion on North Pole, but it's there.
Yeah, it is there.
And then
I just know my boy Saint Nick is up there.
Right, that's all I know is Santa Claus is up there chilling. I say those questions make me question a lot of what's told to us about the globe. Like, I always bring up the Africa thing because if you look on globes and maps, they don't size Africa correctly. You have to look up correctly sized maps.
It's huge.
And Africa's bigger than what they show us.
Yeah.
Why is that? That's why I question. That's why I'm not a flat earther. I'm just saying there's way more land to this planet, and space is they're lying to us about space. It don't make sense. They're making it up on the fly.
Because you don't think space is real?
No, they're making. I think space is real, but they're making us some stuff up on the fly because Pluto was and wasn't a planet. What? The reasons behind it didn't even make sense.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Pluto didn't cycle around.
It didn't cycle around its moon. Their moons would cycle around each other.
Yeah.
We have never been there, and we're just gonna make that call.
Well, these telescopes, they say. I mean, so you don't think the telescopes are as good as what they're saying?
I'm saying if we had this.
I mean,
we had this conversation 10 years ago, we'd be saying something different. Was Pluto was a planet or not? And you would have said you don't think these telescopes are good. You said it's 10 years before that, 20 years ago. You say the same thing. You say it's 10 years in the future. You say the same thing. I'm saying until we actually can get on Pluto, no. We don't have until we can get there. Our technology is never going to be good enough to accurately say what these planets are doing. So we still learn. We know more about space than we know about our water. Nah.
Well, they've been studying the stars and the movements and stuff. But I mean, there's people throughout history that use the stars and shit to know
simple with rocks. Reminds me of that Tony. You remember Iron Man 1 when he's like, we need to build the Iron Man suit. And he's like, Tony Stark built that in a cave.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, these guys in caves knew about the stars, and we got all this technology, and we're not ahead of them.
Well, I mean, we are ahead of them in a sense, but
how?
Well, technology wise,
they already knew about. They were telling us about Pluto back then. Why haven't we advanced?
There's been civilizations that don't make sense, like the early Egyptians, like the Mayans. Like, there's still lots of questions about.
And we choose to learn about in space and figure out the questions here. Nah, that don't sit with me. That don't sit with me. We know it. We know it, and we holding it. You know what? It don't sit with me.
We crossed into the conspiracy corner.
I think we did. We did cross the conspiracy corner. Yeah, I think we withhold a lot of info.
Yeah, I believe.
I think America and all countries withhold info because
they would have to be in on it together.
Yeah, dude.
But that's the one thing that also they can't get along. So how are they getting along enough to agree to lie to us?
Because the Vatican isn't a country, but Vatican has sovereignty, like it's a country, but it isn't a country.
Like the Pope?
Yeah. And the same thing with Antarctica. We know how to get along. That's what I'm saying. There are several countries that have control over Antarctica, and they work peacefully. It's not a war. So we know how to work together.
When we have to, huh?
Yeah. The Vatican. Why is nobody overrunning the Vatican? Why aren't we carpet bomb fighting the Vatican? Why? We know how to be peaceful. Yeah. People like to put up that argument. We don't know how to be peaceful. We don't know how to be peaceful. We know how to be
peaceful. There's more instances of us being not peaceful than peaceful, though.
That's
throughout
a hard
history, motherfuckers been fucking people up. Consistently throughout human history, there has been more violence than peace.
Okay, so consistently. So that's a hard call, right? Because
I mean, with just World War II should tip the scales as far that just one. Again, that's just one war.
All right, World War II, right?
Yeah,
World War II. What in World War II? What African country was involved in World War II? Yeah, because it doesn't talk about Africa at all in World War II. or South America. But it's a world war that doesn't involve
four continents.
Videos.
There's some. What is it? Which part of Africa still has problems with or connections with Britain? Is it South Africa?
I think South Africa. A lot of countries because most half of Africa knows French because it was like taken over and stuff.
Well, there's some part of Africa that's tied in with Britain, and so I know, but that may just play more into your point that the only reason they were mentioned in these videos I was watching is because they had ties to the British people.
Again, that's why I'm just kind of
because like even Napoleon was attacking some places in Africa, because they were.
That's why they know half of like France. That's why half of them speak French.
Napoleon was a bad motherfucker, though.
I mean, dictators. Again, most dictators we know about are all emperor, dictator.
There's a difference,
right?
I'm playing. No.
All of them are all European. We don't know. Like I was like, do African people are there African dictators?
Are there?
I don't know.
So have you done a lot of study in Africa, or are you just saying why don't they talk about African history more?
So like it depends. I don't do like it's up in there. Like it's just spotty. Everything's spotty, right? That's why like I know a lot of different things, but I know enough to ask a question and I know nobody knows how to answer.
Yeah.
Right? Like you be like, is there African dictators? I'll throw that right back. Is there? And then we're both like, huh? Right?
Yeah. I mean, we can Google it.
Google it, like what African dictator? They're gonna all say more recent ones because it was the Gaddafi. He was a recent one. And it's just kind of like, and it's weird, right? Because we know, and that's why I say.
But I mean, in America, with our history, with African Americans, obviously, maybe that is a reason why they're like, what is beneficial about teaching people about Africa? Like, that might be a conspiracy, but I'm just saying, like, maybe
here's the easy way to just debate that one, right? They're trying to you state that again because this is the easy way. You say African Americans,
So at one point, this country was definitely run by white folks, obviously. So maybe it may, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So maybe we don't teach African history for that reason.
Okay. So fair point. Here's the refute on that. But somehow we teach World War II Germany and we teach dictators and European. That doesn't help.
Well, a lot of times they tell like Germany, like you bring up World War II,
slavery.
They teach, but sometimes they may teach that to make us look like the heroes.
Okay, but so propaganda. So we can't teach anything to help the Africans and Black people out. And also,
that's just a guess. I don't know nothing.
See, that's why I say in the point it doesn't make sense, right? Like, this is why, like, I tie it in. Like, even when people say racism, there's a design. Everything that we're talking about, it's a reason for it. Why people are sad, can't do a relationship, why they're single mom, why people are eating bad. Everything's in a certain design because like it doesn't make sense. We've been on here long enough. Somebody knows these answers. If we don't know the answers, we have the technology to know these answers. You can't tell me we have the technology to know Pluto, who are light years away, but we can't know what's in these caves. We can't know what's in these pyramids. We can't go in water that deep.
Yeah.
That don't even make sense.
Yeah, the deep water deal is definitely difficult. As you can see,
the dude controlled it with a PlayStation 1 controller.
Yeah,
they didn't make it far, but we have the technology. We probably can go further.
Yeah.
And report.
But then that's also an example of us not being able to do it.
That is, but those are 4 guys that were rich. Now, put a whole government behind it.
Yeah.
But
see, that's the thing. War, I think, plays a big part into all this stuff because, like, everybody, like, okay, we're sending because that's what governments have done for a while is they've smokescreen stuff. We're gonna go because, like, one of the times I believe that somebody fact check me probably. One of the times they went to look at the Titanic was the actual motive behind it was a military motive.
Yeah. And it's like, there's no motive, but like, if you don't have a motive, then there's nothing to gain. The motive's a game because when we go to war, oil, resources, right?
Yeah.
The reason we're not going to anything in Antarctica, we ain't found nothing yet. Soon we find something.
Well, yeah, that may answer your question from earlier there. There may just be nothing worth fucking looking at.
So we know how to be peaceful.
Chilling. Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying? Like, that goes to the point.
I agree. Like, there's times that we know how to be peaceful, but I think throughout human history, we've proved that that will fuck up even peace.
We will, and that's the thing where it's like, why? Because if I look at somebody away from social media living, this is when people say racism just as bad. But like when I see people, they get along. When I see people, they get along really well. But when you start adding extra factors, now we're not getting along, right? Because racism, I don't think is a disease. It's a taught thing. Hate is a taught thing. Like you get mad, like when a baby gets mad, a baby doesn't hate. I've never seen a baby born naturally hate. I see a baby upset because they need something, right? And that's a natural thing. But I don't see a baby just like maybe not. Maybe you have kids. You ever just see a baby and they just mean mug. They don't like this one thing, right? But you usually love things. They're curious, right?
Yeah, they're normally curious.
They're normally curious, and then they normally love, right?
But I just think we grow out of those things,
or we're taught out of those things.
Taught out of
we're taught out of those things. That's why it's like racism is a taught thing. I don't think it's a disease. You're not, disease is kind of something that happens over time, but it's like, I mean, I guess you can give somebody a disease. I guess.
Oh yeah, you can.
I guess if alcoholism is a disease, then racism is a disease.
Yeah.
Like you just kind of fall into something that's very bad and it's hard to get out of it because it's so ingrained in you. But again, I think that's by design because it don't make sense.
At the end, I don't know. A lot of things don't make sense. The way the world doesn't really make sense when we look at it. But it's like, in one way, it does make sense. Is there is a simple answer to a lot of the stuff we talked about today. Is that as humans, most people will fall into some societal order.
Yeah,
and that's how most of these things start because as a person, we try to fit into and with laws and stuff, and how we talked about earlier, how some laws don't even make sense. But in order to fit into society, you have to stay within the guidelines, and then that is a way that several people. Like millions of people all get shaped a certain way because no one.
Well, tribalism.
You get punished for going outside of
the norm,
normal, outside of the regulars of society, and that's why people grow up in certain things because like
that's true. No, that's accurate because you're always going to have a certain level of tribalism, and and I think that's actually a lot of issues with America because our cultures are so mixed, right? Unlike another culture, everybody looks the same. Everybody lives a certain way. You're not going to have the same issues as in like, that person lives differently. That makes me feel weird. You're not used to it, right? Yeah. Somebody moved into neighborhood. They look completely different. They live in completely different. Right. There goes neighborhood. They just, and I get that. And that's where it's like, well, how do you unite? All right. And that's where it comes down to. But again, maybe it's not meant to. Or maybe these are just natural of being a melting pot of America. Like everything we're talking about. These issues, how we're teaching things, because people are doing all this. This is just how it is, right? Like how they teach like English or history. It's because how they taught in Europe or another place. Because it's easy to do that route.
Yeah.
Versus, we're in a melting pot. I need to change up the formula.
Yeah, I think, and another thing that just made me think of why I think they teach, like why we know England and Spain and all that stuff and don't know Africa, because the beginning of America, I feel like if you're telling the story, like even all your history is kind of telling a story, which I think most of it originated in Africa, but like what we're saying, what I'm saying is that since America directly left England, okay, that's why we know England so well, because I mean, basically we're just a branch off of England. And then you have to know Spain and you have to know the France because that's who England was beefing with.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of why they go that route when they teach us.
Well, it goes who controls it.
Yeah, because we never just really just beefed with Africa.
That's where like, and it's really weird because I think I learned of a dictator that was in Africa. I don't know of an African dictator, and that's like Leopold. He chopped fingers. He chopped a lot of African fingers. I think, and I could be wrong.
And where was he from?
Leopold, I think, was from Italy. I could be wrong. Oh, I do another one. John Africanus is what Africa's named after. Is a general or somebody that was like just destroying things in Africa.
Wow.
I think his name's John Africanus. I think he was a white man that was like ruling. It's John Africanus.
No, Africa wasn't named after a white dude. Was he?
Look up John Africanus.
Oh man,
Let me see.
You can't tell me that.
Let me drop. Did I drop a crazy truth bomb?
That's gonna. I won't be able to sleep tonight if I watch.
You're just gonna be like, no.
What do you mean, John?
Right? See, I think it's John Africanus. Like it's like U.S. at the end. I could be wrong on the name, but I think that's the name.
I don't know. I'm not seeing it, dude.
Let me see.
Because that's gonna blow my mind. That's gonna put me out. That may. I'm gonna have to cut the show off. That deal.
Oh, it's Leo Africanus.
Oh, so we're mixing two people there, huh?
Yeah, I am. No. Leopold III is definitely a person. Yeah. Leo Africanus. Let me see. I got a picture of what he looks like. Yeah, white guy. And I'm pretty sure that's what Africa's named after. Let me Leo Africanus is I want to say he's named after Africa, and he's a white guy.
He's named after Africa.
Africa's named after him.
Oh my gosh!
I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure.
If you're right, if that's right, you blew my mind.
Let me see. Let me put in Leo Africanus because I can't just like not fully commit now. Leo Africanus named Africa in early 16th century. The famous medieval scholar Leo Africanus. Oh, he was a scholar who had traveled across North Africa, giving detailed accounts. Name Africa derived from the Greek word. So yes, Africa is named after a white man. Shook.
Yeah,
that's the yeah.
I just see
nobody ever talks about this.
I just see one of my black friends in my head saying like, "Well, they just won't let us have shit."
They just
won't let us have.
Leopold II. This guy was the ruler guy. That's who I'm thinking of. He took over and
he's from Belgium.
He's from Belgium, yeah. And he went to Congo and he chopped off fingers. Yeah, they just won't have. Yeah, a lot of people think that's like the original name African.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yep. Oh yeah, it goes deep. Yeah, because it's so used to just kind of like just saying it and being used to it and everything else, and then you realize, wait, that doesn't make sense at all. And you're like, where does it come from? We don't. It's only so far we research. And, nobody ever thought to question it.
Yeah.
I
know a lot about like ancient Africa, like ancient Egypt, because that's a hot topic.
Ancient Egypt. When it comes to knowing about Africa, we always go Egypt, right?
Yeah, but there's a time. There's like thousands of years.
It's a long
after like the first civilization. We always learn about old Egypt,
yes.
And then like I don't know shit.
Then we don't touch on anything else. Yeah, it's very weird, and even like I'm a big on knowing. They're not like technically religions now, but it's like pantheons, like Greek pantheon and Roman pantheon, and like trying to learn like African pantheons and Asian pantheons.
Pantheons,
as in like the religions, but we don't look at them as religions no more. Nobody's out here believing in Zeus,
right?
Like it's not like, but at one point they believed in Zeus and it was like a religion, but now it's like more like a pantheon.
Yeah,
nobody's worshiping Zeus. I do know some people that worship Thor and Loki and Odin. I do know people.
That's the Viking route. Huh?
The Viking route. I do know people that kind of go that
Isn't
way.
it weird that the Vikings have like a parallel of the Greek deal and they were like really far away from each other?
It's a yes.
Because I mean, isn't Floki like like Floki and Loki?
So it's the way it's the way they had named people.
Yeah.
Their naming way, because their last name, you were always named after your father and you put son.
Yeah. But like Zeus and then Thor and then like I don't know, they're paralleled almost.
Well, it's the same thing with Greek and Roman is parallel.
Yeah.
A lot, and somebody like I've looked at stuff, somebody even lined up the Egyptian gods and lined up leaving like Christianity and then lined them all up with these are all the same gods. And it would just kind of spread out. Yeah, it goes deep, but it's like how much you want to research and go into it. Yeah. I'm a guy that like, I just go down a rabbit hole and I research. That's why it's like the Africa thing had me shook.
Yeah. I'm completely mind blown.
Yeah. One thing I always like tell people in the shooks them is like, who claimed what was north and what was south?
Like on the
like what
direction wise?
Who said what was north and what was south?
Well, somebody came up with it.
Somebody came up with it.
Yeah.
And here's one thing where that question alone made me figure out that Africa was named after a white guy, because no African person living in South Africa called it South Africa. That doesn't even make sense. If you think about it, if you're living in this place, you're not going to put
South.
What
about South Carolina?
Right? but those are people they came over here and then they ruled it. But if you're living there, you're not naming it a direction. You're not naming it after a direction. Somebody had to show up. Oh, looks like I'm south of this place. And you're like, south of where?
Yeah, we're here.
And then they kind of name it.
Yeah.
So that's not even, because you think about it, South Africa, that's not even the original name. And there's a couple African countries.
Does it get cold at the bottom of Africa? Because isn't it?
I think it depends on where the position is on the.
Or I was looking at Australia gets colder than I thought it would. Didn't Australia kind of?
Like some of the Middle East gets super cold at night, but super warm during the
daytime. Yeah.
It's different places. That's also makes me question a lot. That's what I'm on flat Earth theory, but it doesn't. But
at the same time, you can look at the longitudes and latitudes on the globe, and people have similar weather. As long as you stay within those lines.
But then also, thing that's proven, man, this sounds, everything I say, you can fact check me. It just sounds conspiracy because it sounds wild. You can control the weather. Middle East controls the weather, and it's a known thing.
Really?
Yeah, you looked it up. What's that big spot? Dubai? Yeah, they control the weather. They make it rain whenever they feel like it.
Just there, though, right? You're not talking about like global weather, though, right?
Probably. Why we can see Pluto? Why can't we have the technology to? It's one of those things where you use that. I use that argument as like, well, we have the technology. If we have technology for that, why don't we have the technology for this? And they already say like anything we have now is 50 years behind what the government has. And I always like point that out because I was like, all right,
are we sure on that though? Like
on the 50 year?
Yeah, because like if they're 50 years ahead with AI, then it's already out of control
then AI has already been putting in fake things. I was looking at pictures in 2018 and it was completely like AI generated. Like a picture, and like it was more accurate in that picture than what I've seen people make now.
Wow.
So yeah, but like fake propaganda, people look at fake propaganda all the time.
Are you scared of AI? Shit, I hate that. We've been talking a long time. I hate to open up that rabbit hole.
Are you scared of AI?
I am.
I don't like AI, but it's kind of like it's right there, right? Like AI is just kind of with everything we do. Like I rely so much on my phone, and I hate it, but it's like it's going with the times. Like I'm in the thing where not only is AI, I do esports video games. I kind of have to like.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
I kind of like have to like it, to a certain degree. Like editing makes editing easier. It makes.
Oh yeah, dude. There's a deal that takes my podcast clips.
Yeah.
I just upload the link from YouTube.
Where you Opus?
Opus, yeah. I just bought Pro, and so I get like it'll give me like 20.
Yeah, see, it makes life so much easier, and it's like, man, like I don't care for it. Like I listened to my first, like I willingly clicked on my first AI song only because it got me. The curiosity got me, and it was I like to look at songs that were originally meant for other artists, and Britney Spears' "Hit Me Baby" was belonging to TLC originally.
Well,
and they were pointing out the parts that Britney did was supposed to be each TLC member. And I looked it up on YouTube to see if I found an original version. They only had AI version. Like, all right, I'm going to listen to it. That's the first time, and that was
it freaky? Was it?
No, it was really well done. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, like Drake and The Weeknd have a song that's AI generated. It's not them, and it sounds like them. It's scary.
I've listened to my friend. This is like I didn't go out my way. My friend was like, listen to this. Isn't this hard? I was like, yeah, I never heard that Biggie verse. And he was like, it was AI generated. I'm like, what? No, I think, and I'm scared that people are going to use AI to sway people's votes for the election.
Yeah, people are going to use but also they could sabotage the people running for it too. Like, they could have Donald Trump on a video saying something that he didn't say, and it'll be so believable here soon.
Yep.
And then you'd be like, oh, he'd say something like that.
On a conspiracy thing, somebody was showing like deep fake, and they were talking about Biden. And that is like a complete conspiracy. I don't know if it's real or not. And they showed me this interview, and the interview, it was off. Like something was off about it, as in Biden was the only one in a different lighting. And it didn't make sense. Like nothing matched up. His face literally didn't match up with his hands and body. And it's easy to rule off like, oh, they just oversaturate lighting and everything else. But it's like, no, something's off. Right? That's the only time. That's a complete conspiracy. I forget when the interview was. It was right before he won.
Yeah.
But we have the technology, so we can do that. Anything we can do in movies, we can do more than that, right? So I don't know.
My mind just goes to like all the bad shit people could do with it.
It's all the bad things that we probably already seen and don't know because people still arguing over 9/11. You know, that's why I always say you can fact check me. Nobody, but that doesn't matter. If somebody want to be mad, like that's not how it is. Africa's not named after a white man. They're not gonna look it up. They're just gonna be mad. Yeah. You know? I can say the same things like George Bush did 9/11. There's kind of proven documents that he knew about it because those planes don't knock over buildings like that. But people rather live in.
That's like That's like a popular one now to where it's like almost accepted, and I feel like people just say that like. Name your favorite conspiracy theory. Bush did 9/11. Like I have a buddy that just
it is a typical like
that's like the go-to.
Well, and so many conspiracy theories are like so proven. Like what was the one with they forced everybody to take acid and they gained apparently you made the face. Now I thought you would know it. It's
no, I ain't seen it.
It's ultra something ultra.
Is it a cult?
Something. No. The government was doing it. It's MK Ultra. You never heard of MK Ultra? This is a proven thing about MK Ultra. You're gonna look at it.
I will write it down.
Here to say something real, and this is the thing where like
we supposed to talk about wrestling.
We supposed to talk all of this. Kanye West is always saying like conspiracy theories that are coming out true, and it's funny because people just like to make him look crazy, and I'm like, sure. He could be crazy, but he's accurate. MK Ultra is they were doing illegal experiments and forcing people after World War II. They were forcing people to do acid and drugs, and they were like testing for psychic abilities. And if you ever watched the movie Men Stare at Goats, it's about the psychic division of the government. The government's always had a psychic division. And everybody like psychic powers. Yeah. They were like training people to have psychic powers to start this psychic warfare. 100% proven, and it sounds crazy. It sounds straight up crazy. I'll tell you this story. This is funny. This is when I was doing a Comic-Con, and so like I worked plenty of Comic-Cons, and my mentor at the time, this lady, she was like a psychic, and she knew a lot of psychics. So I was around psychics all the time. People that did all these things.
And is that like a Comic-Con thing? Like that just
yes and no. So it's like weird. Like she was a psychic, but not everybody was psychic. Not everybody believed in it. But she knew people that did believe in it. And like they knew a lot of Eastern, Western, different medicine techniques. People knew Qigong, Tai Chi, Reiki, healing things, just all these different methods. And some people had these different gifts. And we went up to Harry Potter guest, Draco Malfoy. We went to his father in the character, right?
Right.
So we see the actor, we're getting up to him, and she does the spill. I'm like, oh no, because it always
spill.
Like spill, like she's spilling out telling you. No, she didn't go to the spell.
I thought she goes up for the spell.
No, she goes up to him and she's just like spilling out about how she's a psychic. And I'm like, no, because sometimes she does that. I'm like, no, we better get thrown out. This is Draco Malfoy's dad. Don't say this. He's only leaving that stuff on the movie. Say this stuff. He looks at her with his face and it's like, my best friend is a psychic for the what is it in England, the red something, whatever else, the red light district. He's a policeman that is a psychic policeman for the red light district in Europe. My best friend, and they just start talking about it. And I'm just like, no, there's no way.
There's no way.
And they're just trading stories about psychics, about in the police force in Europe, in California, and all these other things. But it's like higher up stuff. And I'm just like, what's happening here? Like we hold up the line. Like we go there and I was just like, we can't keep holding. He's like, oh, well, come back later or whatever else. And he was like fully about it. Like he knew about it. And then I realized the bigger known the actor, the richer the person believes that. Not believing in conspiracy theories is like a poor person.
Oh, that's just.
I realize because people are tied to it. Like a lot of like famous people, like Alicia Keys or Beyonce, they don't want to lose that fame, and you start diving in. That's why like Kanye West will say some stuff, and he'll be right on some things, and a lot of them you don't see. Some people don't speak on it because they believe in that thing. And I was like, they're really about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it because you're just like, no, that's not it. And like, no, they're about it.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, we were supposed to talk about wrestling and all this other stuff, and we just went down the rabbit hole and everything.
But that's fine. Yeah, that's part of it. That's kind of how me and Jewel did.
Yeah, y'all were talking about a bunch of different things.
So you know I'm paid in full.